link out as to bend the knee. We just need to send one out to the Heroes patron group.
All right.
But we are live. We are live here. I believe we're just doing a hangout tonight, right?
Yeah.
With our bannermen, with our patrons. Already got Ryan in here. Hopefully some more people join as well. Sending out those links, getting everybody all set up. But we're just talking Wheel of Time, and we're talking, what did we think? And Ryan, you actually just said you had a great response right before we hit the record button. I mean, what were your initial thoughts, reactions once Wheel of Time went live and it was all there? What were you thinking, man?
Well, first off, the surprise that it came Thursday night was that put me into a frantic mode, I think, with a lot of people to try to get situated, get in there and dive into it. But when it comes to big things like this, where I love the book and I'm new to the book, you guys got me into the book when you started this podcast. So I think I'm 7-8 books in now, so I'm ahead of you guys, but I stopped to let you guys catch up, and then I can focus on the show. I'm really fired up about how the show has gone. I try to keep my expectations low for things like this, and I just couldn't help it. The buildup was so much. The teasers they were dropping, some of it was a little bit weird, but man, it fit so well in once the show came out. I really liked it. I really liked 2 and 3 more than the first one, but that's only because it's just like with everything that's new. You got a lot of introduction. There's so many characters. You got to lay a lot of groundwork to get ready for the end of the episode. So there's nothing wrong with the first one for me. I was so fired up once I got into 2 and 3.
Yeah, I agree, man. Episode 1 is great, but it's like we're just so excited to get it going, and then rewatched it last night. Yeah, and then episode 2, man, once we get to Shadar Logoth, and then episode 3, we see our first dark friend. I mean, we're 3 episodes in, and I feel like we've really covered a lot of ground already, Ez. What do you think?
Yeah, we have. Because let me tell you, last night I've been thinking about it. There were dark friends in plain sight. Sorry, I have a fork here, friends, because you never know when they're
when they're going to attack.
When they're going to attack. No, I am. It was funny. We were doing, like Ryan said, the surprise drop happened. We keep calling it surprise. Everyone's like, oh, it was pretty standard. Well, this is my first Amazon show. It's my first rodeo. Okay, So here I was, just with a whole bunch of food, and I have food again here tonight because man's got to eat. All right,
a man does.
A man does. But I think we have gotten quite a bit. I'm really glad we have as much as we have. I thought, like, the fact that I'm now 100% convinced that Perrin's wife is a dark friend. But okay, let's. I'm gonna go ahead and do.
We
this
can dive
right
into
now.
it.
Let me go pull up this. So I was looking at comments. By the way, thank you to everyone who has been commenting on the videos. We have such good activity on there, and there are so many. By the way, we're 8 subscribers away from 1,000. So
we might be having a 1,000 subscriber party.
I will stay on here until we get 1,000. My God, I got all my food. I even got a Frosty, guys. I'm locked and loaded.
Okay? Let's go. I had to take a nap. As and I have just been since Thursday night. We have just been hammering stuff out. We did another episode of our Harry Potter thing. We did a Star Wars. We at one point did a Star Wars thing. It's kind of a blur. I edited like 5 videos. Ez has been editing videos, cranking stuff out. It's crazy. I had to get a nap. I had to get a nap in. I woke up literally about 25 minutes ago. Took a shower, and I was like, all right, here we go. Just gonna press record and go.
Matt's like, right back at it. Okay. So some of the comments I have here, and just bear with me, guys. I am just going to eat. Where's the hangout? This is kind of what we do. It's just live. Like normally for Bend the Knee and other things, we actually hang out, and Ez has got a couple drinks, might even leave, go get one, come back. It's just like all out there.
Right.
It's
all possible.
If I'm staying for 1,000 subs, I'll stay here. Okay. So, okay, here's a couple theories. If you click on this most recent video, you guys can read them with me too. So we got 8 comments on this. Just posted a couple hours ago. Is Perrin's wife a dark friend? Okay, spoilers. My theory was that they lost a baby. Nynaeve definitely seemed to know something was wrong when she nudged him to go to the forge, and that Layla was promised her baby back if she delivers Perrin to the Dark One. I like this because it can prepare us for some future character arcs by showing us that Dark Friends are not always completely horrible people. Sometimes they are just desperate or tricked. Now, that's one of there's a number of comments on here that have variations of that I think are just awesome, that are really that valid, like could be good, right. They could be spot on. So, Ryan, what did you think when you first saw that, when the attack happened?
I was a little bit confused at the beginning of the episode because it'd been a while since I'd read the first book, and I've only read into them once. So we're going back to when you started the podcast. I was trying to first remember, did he have a wife at the beginning? So I did a little bit of, pause the episode, get on my phone real quick. I didn't know what they were going to do with that, and I didn't have the time because the episode's moving so quick. But I didn't foresee that coming, that they were going to kill her off.
Right.
And I didn't even think about anything Dark Friend until, you guys started talking last night or the other night about, where is she with that weapon in her hand when he's turned?
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about it and looking back on it. So I think you guys are probably following along. It's an interesting conversation. We don't know yet. I think it might lead us to something down the road of, if she is a Dark Friend, does that offer some opportunity for him, like you guys said, with his next, I don't know what we're doing with spoilers here, but where he's going to go with his character down the road.
Oh, I didn't. Well, it's fair game, buddy. We're spoiler territory.
Well, so the funny thing is, we obviously have a group chat, and we were all chatting as we're watching the show, and we were all a little bit further. I think Ryan, you were a little bit further ahead of Ezra and I, because we were stopping. We were stopping
recaps.
We were doing a recap of it, and so you were saying some things, and we got there. And then I was like, oh, okay, what was that? And so I think you actually had pointed out to me the idea of about Perrin's wife potentially being a Dark Friend, and rewatching it last night. So now, and I rewatched it again last night for the third time, and the third age of rewatches. And I so at first she is fighting Trollocs that come in. There are she does fight against Trollocs that come in. But there is a moment where she's fighting him where she could almost just let a Trolloc kill Perrin. And so if her goal is to, end Perrin's life, I wonder if it's maybe she had to kill him or something was the plan. Or maybe she's using a hammer so she could knock him out and then take Perrin, right? Have Perrin taken, not necessarily killed.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be something. And then when I saw what you guys are saying about in the dream sequence, not only is the wolf eating her, but the eyes, the zombie kind of eyes, that's when I was like, oh yeah, she's definitely Dark Friend.
Yeah.
Could there be some notoriety for her if she claims Perrin? It takes him to wherever they're supposed to take them, wherever they were dragging Nynaeve to, kind of like we see where in episode 3 when the maid goes after.
Right.
I'm not sure what her character's name was, but I can't remember now.
Right.
But,
yeah. The barkeep Dana, when she's talking about how I'm gonna be the one that she was a Dark Friend, and going back and looking at hers when she's talking to Matt about how, or no, it's when she's talking to Rand, I think, when he's asking like how'd you end up here, and she's like, choices, right? Those choices that left me here.
I'm gonna start using that, by the way.
Oh, I love it.
Choices. How'd you how did you end up in jail tonight, son? Choices.
Well,
choices. Dark choices in the past.
Matt. Okay, actually, Ryan, good point here. You brought up, some people were like, they didn't like the idea that Nynaeve got drug away. You just brought up something interesting though. Is there already a plot or something out there to capture and grab these Ta'Viren, because there's the rumor of 4 Ta'Viren. I love someone last night was just like, you got words, and the attention to words and detail are important with Aes Sedai and just in general. Is it fact or is it rumor? but are these, because even if it's just rumored, maybe you don't know, like Nynaeve's the wisdom. Is she important? She's close by. You're a Trolloc. You grab someone. Maybe they were going to take her back because they're like, why grab her and why not kill her? You know, is it to take her back and boil her in a pot? Like, you know, I mean, right? Like that again, it reminds me of like the trolls in The Hobbit, where they're just sort of, you know, all debating how we're going to cook her up, you know, and maybe that's it. But more so, I think there was some instructions or some orders. I don't know. Something's up there with that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the Trolloc grabs her, and so on one hand you think, okay, maybe the Trolloc knows what he's doing, but then he like stops along the way and is like, all right, well, I better check out what this other guy's doing. Nah, I better just like feast on this dude, and then
He's
like
hungry.
he like forgets about Nynaeve, and so it's like, okay, wait, are they, you know, are they intelligent? Are they not intelligent? You know, like what's going on with the Trollocs there?
Well, it's the same thing with like the orcs, and you know, when they get Pippin and Merry, right? They're somewhat intelligent, but like, we had nothing to eat all day, right? They got to stop and like,
right, yeah, right,
bite into the
exactly.
hobbits.
Great comment here. Nynaeve now has a reason to tug her hair after being dragged a mile by her hair. Yes, she does.
Well
yes,
done.
Yes, she does.
Mm-hmm.
There has not been as much hair tugging as I don't think she's actually really sort of. She's done some hair flips. She hasn't really done hair tugging yet.
Yeah, it's just more of a, you know, pull.
I was going to say, in the books, is it like a nervous tick with her, or is it like it's something she does when she's angry?
Yeah. When she's angry.
I mean, it's definitely you know, mannerism, a tick. I mean, she does it, and it signifies to the reader that she's also upset. I feel like that would hurt after a while. I mean, just tug on your own hair. I mean, I feel like that hurt.
Yeah, maybe. You know, I keep about to say this. I don't know. Like, I think we all have like different nervous. I mean, things that we do. Like right now, I'm eating. Right. I mean, this is something's going. I mean, I almost lost my wallet on my way here, and so I got stressed out, Matt. And so I stopped and got a bunch of food. Is that a tick as well? I like to blame it on something.
Or is it a quesadilla?
It's not a quesadilla. God, I wish it were.
So
though.
yeah, Ryan also pointed that out, and he's like, are they eating quesadillas? And then it's like, I watched it again last night. It is, man.
Quesadilla. Mm-hmm.
It's a flat out numbers. Taco Bell number 7. That's just what. I wonder if Taco Bell's, you know, like quesadilla numbers are going through the roof because maybe that was some of the.
They should do a special. They should do.
They were eating some sort of corn. They were eating some sort of corn thing too. They had there some sort of meal or something that they were.
Mm-hmm.
That they were making. The soup the Dark Friend was making did not look good. It's just flat out throwing pig's feet in there.
Yeah, what the heck?
That was yeah. Was she throwing the leftovers back in?
I think so.
Oh my gosh, you guys. So when you go into a tavern or a place like that, Matt knows this little town called Cinnaburg, right down the road here. Just no one. I mean, there's a small little place, center of Ohio.
Blink and you miss it.
Yeah, and we go in there one time, and I felt like I went into like this old tavern where on the menu, Matt, on the big board, it basically says the meat, and then you have options: the meat with some cheese and bread, or the meat and something else. And when they come to the table, like there's a couple different variations of what you could have with the meat. And the lady comes up, she's like, "So what we have?" And I'm just sort of like, the meat." I mean, like what else is there to have? I guess like some cheese and bread.
At least they're allowed to legally call it the meat, unlike Taco Bell, which could be what the Tinkers are eating.
Wow.
Hey, remember?
Way of the leaf. That's why they were.
Hey, Stephanie Milligan says hippies love bean burritos. Yeah, they definitely nailed the Tinker hippie vibe. Right.
That's a good point. I never thought about what they would eat.
Another thing I did notice, and I knew that, and I remember that this was said in like the casting and costuming and everything. Like we were talking about Tom Maryland's coat and how, obviously his coat on the outside is supposed to sort of change colors, but when he sits down to sort of play guitar and he kind of flips like his coat over his knee so he could put the guitar down, you can see inside. It's like a patchwork of all these different colors, which is a cool, kind of nice touch, cool sort of
nice nod to the book. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. So Ryan, which character? I mean, which characters did you like the most? Which characters did you think like were the best adaptation?
I'm with you. Everything you guys have been saying, I love Matt's character. The guy's done a great job with it, and it's probably because everyone's annoyed at his character from the books, so we're expecting to be annoyed by him in the show. And I think what they're doing with the show is they're doing a really good job of taking the 5 characters, the 5 that could be, and giving them their own separate screen time and their own little backstory and reasons for you to care about them for the people that haven't read the books and don't know who the Dragon Reborn is, so that they can look, you don't know, they're not leading you toward the one character. Now they probably are because they've got Rand and Egwene together so much in the first episode. So you're probably looking at those 2 as probably above the other 3. But I really liked what they did with Matt. I really liked Tom. I can't wait to see more of him. I'm not that annoyed with Nynaeve yet.
Right.
She gets a little fierce, which is her character, so that's fine. She's a bit snarky, but she didn't have a lot of airtime yet. So I'm curious to see how it's going to go and how quick they get to the point when they start leading her to and start leading to the romance or the beginning of her and Lan.
Right.
Lan's character, by the way, perfect. I mean, you guys keep saying it. He's been perfect.
Absolutely
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, I think he's easily one of the. I think he's like the best. I mean, I think they're all really well cast. And just a lot of things, going back and rewatching it sort of again and really just like sitting and actually just watching it. Like the first night was crazy. The second time I kind of watched it, I was like doing other stuff. And so did last night on my like big TV projector, the whole deal. I sat and watched it. I think Rand's, Rand's our main guy. I think his casting is going to be great. Which I mean, he's gonna totally work. Seeing him actually, like, especially in the second episode when he's like yelling at, he's really yelling at Moiraine, like, where are we going? Why are we doing this? All of this stuff, and she gives him a look before she's like, I've run out of patience and time. I almost feel like she already knows which one of them it is. I mean, I feel like she already knows, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing spoilers here.
Yeah.
When I saw her look at him like that, the thing that popped into my mind was she asking herself, is this Rand yelling at me or is this Lews Therin yelling at me? I mean, that's probably just in my mind. I don't think there's anything to lead us to think that, but it was something that came out. That opening scene where the guy is talking to and then all of a sudden he's disappeared. Perfect way to portray the way that goes in the books. I loved that. And then I forgot about it as we got through the 3 episodes until you guys started talking about that point. How are they going to do that with Rand? Are they going to show us Lews Therin with him next to him standing there? Is it just going to be a voice echo?
I don't know. There has been someone we did a video on it as soon as it was announced, but there has been someone cast as Lews Therin, and I can only imagine that guy is gonna be in the entire series. I almost feel like he would have to be. I think it would be cool if the first way I think they're gonna do it, and I've said this from the beginning, is I think we will see a lot of stuff in dreams. I think we will actually at some point get the Eliana, my love, prologue chapter from Eye of the World. I think it'll be a dream that Rand has. And that I think you would have that actor as Lews Therin. And we talked about because they had nobody cast. We were saying, well, you could just have it be like it's a dream and it's mysterious. You don't see the person's face, but you hear the voice and all of this stuff. You could go that route. But now that they have someone cast as Lews Therin, I think the fact that they showed us a little bit of, in the opening scene, somebody that is going into madness as a male channeler, that maybe we will have somebody that's next to him that would be like talking to him. So that would be cool. That would be a cool way to do it. And you don't have to do it all the time, but you can certainly do it sometimes.
Yeah. I hope they do. I hope we flat out see him, or he has a cool voice or something. Lews Therin Even if we get a
Yeah.
flashback to the Age of Legends and someone's telling the story, we see him, but then we also hear his voice in Rand's head later, and we start to make the connections. That would be cool. But it seems like it's for sure gonna be season 2 before
Season
Rand
2,
gets
yeah.
there.
Yeah. So MJ Daniel here. I think this is why they made the opening the way they did, to set up Luce Theron doing the same. Yeah, exactly. And it was, even though we didn't actually get like the Luce Theron opening, we did actually still start with sort of a male channeler. So I think that's kind of cool to still show like somebody going mad. Because that is the way that the prologue of the Eye of the World is.
Yeah, sorry, it just dawned on me when you framed it that way. That yeah, it'll be when Luce Theron's there. We'll see him if Rand's looking out on a cliff. We'll see Luce Theron standing like right beside him at times,
Right.
and then he'll turn and look, and then gone.
Or maybe I think it'd be cool if he just talked to him. If they had like conversations and stuff like that.
That's what I mean. Like,
a cool way to do it. Yeah.
He could be out there talking, and we could actually see him walking around talking to that actor, and then Moraine's watching it, and it's just Rand walking around talking to himself. You know what I mean? Like that.
Right.
That is really cool. I didn't think about how they could do that.
I would definitely have him, like you have Rand walking, right, and he's like out in an open field or something, and then off in a distance he sees like a man standing on like, a mountain or a hill or something like that, and then you have that person, you have that Luce Theron person, at least first, until we sort of are introduced to Luce Theron, because that happens in the books where, at some points Luce Theron takes over.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does. Reaches for that power.
Yeah.
Starts doing things on his own. You could see like if there's a burst of energy or something that happens, maybe Rand's watching, and it is the other character who does it, and that really shows them like, well, it wasn't Rand, that was this other guy, or something. Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah. So in the opening, I want to see what you guys think about this. In the opening scene, when Moiraine is watching the man get gentled, and she's like, "It's not him." Is it because she knows, the dragon's not going to be gentled, or, well, obviously, if he's a dragon, he's not gentled. But it's almost like she's just so quick. All right, we need to keep moving. And now we end with them capturing Logain. I mean, it seems like she is already. We know she is, but she's already on a different sort of mission than the other Aes Sedai seem to be.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had thought about that when I saw that, and the first thing that popped into my mind was, did she get a look at him and see that he didn't match the description of what the dragon, the prophecy of the dragon, where he comes from? Did he not match that description, or does she know? I mean, in the books, does she know at the beginning? I haven't read the new spring book or any of that, but maybe we don't want to dive into that. But I'm just curious if from the books, does she know who the Dragon Reborn is, or does she learn that on the quest?
So they have the prophecies, but as for like his physical characteristics and that kind of thing, not exactly. She knows that they know the day and the time and the place. And so Matt and I, we were in that little graphic novel where they go out in New Spring, and they basically are charting down every single person, asking women to come forward and giving them money to let them know if they had a child. Did they have a child during this window of time? And but the Aiel War is raging at that moment. So that's kind of, I'll look up the prophecies and see if it said there's because there's different ones. There's the Aiel have their own prophecy of he who comes with the dawn, and then you've got the Dragon Reborn, and then you've got the Athon Mier. They have their own, or the Koramor. They have their own prophecy. So each group kind of has a couple different things going. Let me see here.
Yeah, and as you know, looking at the episode, did you guys see? Because I know this, this is something I think that nobody said anything. Like Lan didn't say anything to Rand about it, but I think it's because Moiraine's injured and stuff like that, so he's so focused. But when we meet back up, I love how when Tam Althor pulls out the sword, They are very specific to show the heron on it.
Yeah.
And so if you're just watching it for the first time, you're like, okay, whatever. Like, it's just cool. But because it's like one frame. I mean, it's so quick. But I mean, at some point when we meet back up, do you think we're already going to start moving into Blade Master stuff by the end of the season?
I sure hope so. I sure freaking hope so. So what they showed too in the little histories, if you guys go look at the X-ray thing, episodes 1, 2, and 3 have these little histories, and they talk about the Blade Master, the best Blade Master ever, and how he was beat, and so they've already started to kind of use that terminology. I think we will see some of that, and Tam was pretty awesome with it. Even the box for you have to pause it, but when he pulls that box out from underneath the bed, it's got a heron on it as well.
Yes.
And I was like, box looks sick. Even the box looks sick. You know what I mean? So it was super cool. I hope we do.
Okay. We got a comment here from Ovidu. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. I love the empathy that they have towards Dana in episode 3. They make you see her point. She is also funny / edgy. And I was talking with Ez about this. A lot of the stuff she says, where like when she's talking to Rand, and Rand is talking about, I've never thought about the wheel before. I always just try to do what's right. A lot of that as feels like some of the conversation that Rand has with Ingtar.
Yeah.
And I hope that they don't use that as that conversation and then not show Ingtar, because I think you can use Ingtar to sort of show like somebody who tries to then turn away from being a dark friend.
Yeah, that's why I kind of thought maybe they were giving elements of it to Layla and kind of passing it around. I think actually what they do with Ingtar, what Robert Jordan does with Ingtar in the book, is really good. And you don't see it enough. There actually should be more dark friends who are kind of like, I shouldn't have did this. I did it for a reason. I got in too deep here. I need a way out. And when Rand says, I think all you have to do is stop,
Right.
being one. I mean, I think all I have to do is just choices, Ryan, as Ryan said, the choices that brought us here, the choices that got me that delicious Frosty I just ate. Like, you have to choose, and he does. Ingtar in the book chooses to fight one more time for the light, by the light. Just like, I could just see him, guys. Honestly, in my mind, I know we might not get him because he's only in one book, but I mean, maybe he's a character that would take a bit further. But just imagine if I just read that. So yeah, just imagine if Ingtar, he's there, Ryan, and he has his sword, and he turns to Rand and he tells him to go. He'll make his stand here. Matt, it's like in Bend the Knee when Corin Halfhand is taking him through the pass, and he turns to Squire Dalbridge and he said, in this pass right here in this spot, one man could hold 50.
Yeah.
That's what Ingtar says right there in that moment. One man could stand here and he could hold hundreds.
Right.
And he is that man. He is that man, and he goes in there, House Shinawa for the light. God, I hope we get
it. I mean, I do hope we get it. But it kind of reminds me. Speaking of people holding everything, for air. Do you guys think the way they did sort of the lore dump in episode 2 was cool with the Manetheren song and then Moiraine talking about about it? And I thought it was a cool way to do it. It wasn't. Because sometimes these sort of lore dumps, you get in movies or whatever, where you kind of need it to set stuff up. Sometimes they can kind of really pull away, or they feel like really far away, or sometimes like they're just so sprinkled. So they kind of took a little bit to just get it in there. And it was kind of like in the middle of the episode, and I thought it flowed in well. What you guys?
I did. The way they did the song. I mean, it just kind of it takes you out of the scene right before it. Now it's a calm scene, quiet, and it's just kind of a beautiful moment. You can see the horses, see the nature, just kind of enjoy it, and then bring in this lore, this history, this world building. the old blood runs deep in those mountains. I loved that line, and it was old blood was something I'd forgotten from the book. So when she said it, it just fired me right back up. But like you're saying, sometimes when you get these lore dumps in shows and movies, when you're time limited, it's a little bit awkward. It kind of takes out of a natural scene and just, hey, we're gonna throw this, info vomit out and then get back to the scene. But they did it really well. Really well here. It was natural.
Yeah. I like that. I definitely thought it was cool. And even some of it too, like the way then we describe, then we sort of describe because they give that lore dump and they talk about like, well, this city didn't come. And then we realize why that city didn't come, and it's because we go to see the city that walled itself off. So it even serves a purpose other than just saying there's old blood. You have old blood and it's powerful.
Comes back around, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way they made that city look was awesome. With just the hole in the wall where they walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. To me, it represents the last time they're together, remembering the two rivers before everything goes to hell. Alan Bird said that. Yeah, I agree, because after that, it's the split, and then we all go off in different directions. Do you guys think, as and I've talked about this a little bit, Ryan, what do you think about the way they're doing Tom Maryland? Or do you think he's going to stay around, or do you think he's just going to be maybe these 2 episodes and we come back season 2?
When do they run into him in the books? It's not the city that we're going to skip this season, right? It's where we're ultimately heading. Is that where they find him in the books? Because I've been misremembering.
Rand runs in. So he's with them at the Wine Spring Inn. Then he goes with them to Shadar Logoth, and then they split off when they get attacked, and then they think he's dead, and they run into him where they're playing Deus de Mar.
Yeah,
Kyrian is where, but it's just Rand, because remember Rand is there and he's doing their Deus de Mar, right? The way all the houses and all the stuff, and Rand's like, this is stupid.
Looks like Harry Potter getting all those letters. They're just owls.
Right. Rand thinks it's heavily stupid, and he runs into Tom Maryland,
who educates him on it.
He does, and then Tom Maryland has a girlfriend named Dana, and she dies. Dark Friend kills her.
That bummed me out so bad when I read that. It made me feel like George Martin was writing when I read that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
If we get the Matt Gawain and Galad moment from the White Tower, I will be very happy. Yeah, we haven't seen any casting for them in season 2, but I would imagine we know we're getting Elaine, so I would imagine we would meet them as well.
Right, yeah, I think it's all season 2 stuff. There is a really cool, I think it's the Greatest Warder. It seems like it's a young Gawain being trained and told about that story. It's not Gawain for sure, but it's like they don't say the kid's name, but he's being trained as a warder, and they learn about blade masters and stuff. So yeah, hopefully season 2 we'll see all those characters.
Here we go. I wonder what do you guys think about this too? I wonder if they will travel with Tom and meet Min along the way, because I think the big city I think everything's going to take place at Tarvalin. There could just be taverns and stuff there that we're going to go to. That's going to be like our big main city, and we know we're meeting Min, and then maybe Tom just stays there, and it's like, I'm going to go be a Gleeman.
Here's my question with Min: if they're not gonna give us introduce us to some of these characters until season 2, her big opening scene in the books is she tells Rand, "I could see the 3 women above your," or no, she tells, is it Egwene or Nynaeve, that I could see the 3 women that are gonna love, or that he's gonna love. They're gonna love him.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not introducing him to some of those women, yeah.
Right, she gives prophecy to everything. Let me see if I can get it pulled up here.
I'm skeptical if we don't have some of these characters that are going to be, then her opening scene, they wouldn't do it that way in the show. Then they'll do some other prophecies to show who she is or what her talent is. But it really dives away from the books. Not that important, but it's one of the reasons I really liked her at the beginning. Is you see she's I just like the way they showed her power or her, her attribute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Eye of the World chapter 15, which theoretically could be like next episode because we're already like, I mean that would be like next episode, really. But I don't think so. I think if we look at the trailer, we see it looks like Tom Maryland fight a Murdral or a Fade, right? And there's like one of those trailers where we see him looks like him fighting somebody in so maybe as they're trying to escape there, that ends up happening. And then we know we've seen like Matt and stuff walking through. Min has not been actually shown in anything official. There were some what appeared to be official leaked photos that released, but we will not be showing them because Ez and I got in trouble for that via YouTube. So so we will not be showing those again, but they exist. Just to go do some looking for that. But and so Rand was talking to her in some sort of room, but we don't really see anything outside of that. So so some of the things she says, so she kind of talks to like everybody, and she says, sparks swirling around you, thousands of them, in a big shadow darker than midnight. The sparks are trying to fill the shadow, and the shadow is trying to swallow the sparks. You are all tied together in something dangerous. To Rand, Egwene's part of it. You're in love with her. She loves you too, but she's not for you or you for her. Not the way you both want. When I look at her, I see the same as when I look at Mistress Alice. She won't refuse it. She's talking. And so I think one of the cool things is that when Min's prophecy will come about here, and again, I'm sure we will get some of it, but some of it's going to be shortened, I'm sure, for the show, or altered for the show, since their paths will go in, the same direction, but we're not going to do every single thing. That I think that will hit a little bit more than it does in the books, because now if you're saying that Egwene and Rand aren't meant for each other, it's almost even better, because right now it's kind of like, well, Rand's like, I have to go find Egwene. I know she'll go to Tarvalon, and we'll meet there. We've already saw them hook up, which is way further than they go in the books, at least, to our knowledge. We don't know anything really that takes place before that, but I don't know that it's ever specifically said that nothing like that ever happened, but certainly doesn't seem to be the case in the books. So I think that line will hit even harder in the show, since we know that they're already, they're adding stuff too, where like Egwene's like, Rand, I just want you to look at me without hating me. And he's like, I could never hate you. So stuff like that is great.
He could never, that was good. He could never hate her. And that's really important, because he trusts her. And actually they all kind of become important in the book series as you go along, because they're from the Two Rivers. They grew up with the Dragon Reborn, and so like they're used sometimes, or felt to be, or given more value by other Aes Sedai and different members of the world, because they know the Dragon Reborn and can,
right.
So
yes. Yeah. So some of the other things she says here, she doesn't specifically talk to Tom Maryland because he's not there, right? No, he's not there because we've lost him. But she's saying some of the things she says. She says, a man, not him, juggling fire in the White Tower, a wolf and a broken crown, and trees flowering all around Perrin. And so now we've already got some of the cool stuff with Perrin, and the wolves. They're getting that going early, which I like.
Oh, Matt and I were talking, Ryan. I'll have to tell you later. I don't know if I can say it all in here, but I mean, Perrin, and just he's. What I can say is he's a boss. He's an absolute animal, and I can't. And the power that he has, and how we see him use his powers, and all the things that we're gonna that are gonna come for him. Like, we've seen the dream world. We saw him walking around and seeing Layla, there, and her corpse being eaten and that kind of stuff. It had this kind of hazy, feel. It felt kind of just like a dreamy kind of filter was on the screen. I cannot wait to see him just go off in the dream world. And that's that we're ways away from that, but I just think about, well, maybe not, because like, who knows what they're going to do, the potential of all this. I mean, Are we going to see a battle in the sky at the end of season 1? Someone asked us the other day. I thought this was important. I wanted to ask Matt about this before we started the show. Are they going to show us the horn of Valir? Is it coming up at all?
Maybe.
Someone said they might not. We got an email from someone. I was going to do it. We'll do a video on it, but they were like, guys, sad question here. I don't know if they're going to, but what do you guys think? Are we even going to see it? And I was like, we better.
I hope so, because I've pictured that so much anticipating this show. You know, you get the valley, you get the mountains, you get the, you know, and then they're fighting down in the valley, or they're fighting each other, and then they look up in the sky and they see the scene. Man, I'm so fired up. I hope we get it. I'll be really not upset, but I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I think it's how you end season 2. Is I think you're gonna mix the ending of the Great Hunt with the ending of the Dragon Reborn and have it all take place at either Falma or Tyr. I think Tyr is probably the better place to have it, especially since the Dark Friend already told Rand about some of the things she wanted to see, and one of the things she said was the Stone of Tyr, which is kind of cool. So that's almost an indication that we will get there, and so that'd be a cool way to sort of do that, because I mean there's no way we don't have Kalendor, and I don't think there's any way you don't have, because if you're not do the Heroes of the Horn and not do the Horn of Valir, you'd really have to stretch a bunch of other stuff out and around, because then like would we not get a Brigette Silverbow? I mean, if there's no Brigette Silverbow, I'm out.
That's out.
I'm out. Like,
he is out. Oh man, I was trying to see if we could find any more just different things, because they've shown us a couple different items and things, right? We've seen what looks like an Angreal. By the way, does anyone in the comments know if some of the little figurines that we did see, if some of those were Angreals? I don't know if you guys saw Moiraine when she was wrapping something, and then someone else had stuff. I was trying to like pause Podon Fane's cart and look on there real close. I'm trying to see what he's selling in his cart. The Aiel had that had some stone, you know. I mean, maybe it was a part of the took the 5th somewhere and just picked that up. But is it important that Matt has it? Will that be something that Matt shouldn't have? I don't know. Yeah, just thought that was kind of cool. Like the items. Because Matt mentioned Kalendor, and I thought we're talking about the Horn of Valir and these things. And in a great epic like this, you have the sword, right? The Heron Mark Blade was there. That was cool. But the items, that's what made Wheel of Time. It felt like you were in Dungeons and Dragons. Like this new player has acquired a new item, and they can use it. When Matt sounds the horn, it's like, I'm reading the rule. You imagine like the DM is there, and he's asking the DM, like, is there anything that says I can't use the horn right now? No. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Right. So,
yeah. Go ahead.
You say that, and it takes me into Harry Potter. You got the stone, you got the horn, the Kalendor, the sword. You know, is this 3 things that are going to be important as some ancient lore? I don't think so, because it's just an Aiel stone that's found on a hanging corpse. But just shout out to your new Harry Potter podcast.
Oh man, dude. Yeah. So like, is there some type of Deathly Hallows, some situation, which that's a really cool thing when you think about the Dragon Reborn, or his friends, his Taviran. Do they need something to certain items they have to collect? That's what the prophecies are all about. Like that he'll have to go get the sword that is not a sword. So yeah, I hope that they might narrow it down a bit. And it'll be these certain things that we have to go acquire, but it's a race to go get them before the Dark One. So that's what the Eye of the World is. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about the way they've been doing? And Ryan, definitely more to you. What do you think about the way they've been doing? Balsamon, Shamael, who was named. Shamael's already been named.
Yeah.
With the way they've been showing some of the, I think what most new people will come into this as, oh, that must be the Dark One.
Right. And that's the same way you do it when you're in the books too, right? Right. At the beginning of the first book, they start sprinkling in, and you think that that's the ultimate bad guy, and then you learn he's just one of many that leads to the final boss, I guess you could say. I don't know. I'm only so far through the books. I really liked how they just kind of sprinkled him in as just a quick, almost like the eye from Lord of the Rings. That was the feel. But for people that read the books, they know they know what that's going to be. I'm excited to see how they introduce this. Now they're going to give us some lore, hopefully in this next episode. Maybe they'll sprinkle. Tom will explain a little bit to some, and then Moiraine will explain a little bit of it to the other group that she's with. I think we're going to start building, the idea of these guys are trapped and they're bosses, but they are servants to the big boss. Are they going to give us that, or is that going to come later? It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to do it.
Yeah, I'm wondering how things. MJ Daniel here. Yes, I am wondering how the things Matt took from the IEL will come up later on. Yeah, because he does. He takes a little wolf. He takes a little wooden wolf thing. And why was that guy carrying that? Seems kind of like a weird thing to be carrying.
Yeah, and what was he doing? That far over here. He's one of these. He's one of the searchers, right? Who's they've read the signs and they're coming to try to figure out. He who comes with the dawn is he back? Is he around? I mean, we have Aes Sedai looking for this individual. Logain's proclaimed himself to be to be the dragon, and so on. Here's something. Well, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just clicking through. Sometimes I go back through and I click around here. In the story, gosh. I know why they do this for Perrin and Matt, because we definitely do now have real emotional, we feel for them, like with Matt's parents and Perrin's wife. But like Abel Cawthon, Matt's father, hasn't said much. And he's supposed to be, not that he says a whole lot in the book, but he's someone that like Tam kind of, they work together. They train, they have their moment. And I'm just sort of like, is he going to have some redemption arc? Can he turn this around? It just hurts to see him doing that. And I'm like, man, like we're better than this, Abel. Come on. So I don't know. I was just clicking through and I saw a moment where like he won't even go out and rescue his daughters, and he's holding his wife and staying there. And then Matt goes and does that. It just was like, wow. Yeah.
I was really curious if they were going to blend the two characters from the books into Mr. Cawthon.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the character's name offhand, but who's the one in the Two Rivers that's like the naysayer? He's the one that's like the doomsday, stressed out.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, it's just him. He's losing his mind. I'm kind of wondering if they weren't going to try to push that character from the books.
Yeah.
Thank you. Into his dad.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he's someone who's outspoken and is more of a doomsday guy. Or there's like, yeah, maybe
he definitely had an interesting look when Matt's like, "Where are the girls?" and he looks at his dad, and his dad's kind of like, "I'm not going out there."
Right. And I was like,
what?
That's not right. Yeah. And I know they're doing it all for Matt, but I mean. Yeah, and his sisters become important later on. Like Varen and Alana will go in there, and they realize, holy smokes, there's a lot of individuals in here who can channel the one power.
Because the power runs deep.
Yeah, the old blood's strong.
The old blood. Yep.
Whew.
Let's see some other comments here. From the Stone Dog Sept, right? We were talking about the wolf. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of the story of the dying Aiel, the Tinkers told Perrin about that they are looking for the Kara Karn.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's over looking for the Kara Karn. There is this story, right, that Perrin will end up telling Moiraine. Loyal has heard something. They all these pieces come back together, and they'll probably come back together in the White Tower, and we'll find out that that the Dark One is trying to attack, or maybe go to the Eye of the World and use that pool, or trying to lure the dragon there and acquire the items that are hidden there. That's the thing. Like the Horn of Valyr is there. So if we If we go to the Eye of the World and they don't pull that out as well with the dragon banner and everything else, then I'll be kind of shocked.
Maybe they just change it.
That's
Maybe
Go
they
ahead.
want the Hunt for the Horn. Sorry, maybe they want the Hunt for the Horn to be its own season, and maybe we end up finding it rather than it. Maybe it's an actual hunt for the horn rather than like hunt Pot on Fane who stole it.
right to get it back. That's what I was going to say.
Actually, that's a really good point. If you're in this show, because the thing is the dramatic irony in it is that we know we've already got the freaking horn, and everyone, the hunters of the horn are out there. They don't matter at all. Like if you're a great hunter for the horn, but Fael was a hunter for the horn. So if they shift and do a whole season where it's like, we found this, the dragon banner, we got to the pool of Saidin, and Rand was able to use that, and we're able to defeat a few Forsaken. That's the other thing too. We got to hear more about the Forsaken. Their names are going to be dropped here soon. Then maybe we have a whole season where it's like, now there's something, we look at the scrolls, we go to the library at Tarvalin, and we figure out where maybe the horn might be, and there's something we actually have to go hunt for it. That would be cool. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Because then it could almost be like, hey, we found it, and I think it could make Matt's blowing it like that much cooler. Like, what if we find it? So what if season 2, let's just say it all takes place at Tyr, because I do think they're going to do that. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think you can get through a lot of stuff, and really it's just they both just sort of end in battles, and I think you could really blend those two. They may not, who knows? But if you do that and you blend the ending of the Great Hunt with the ending of the Dragon Reborn to end season 2, if you're hunting for the horn and you have it, and say the horn is at Tyr along with Kalendor, and so Rand goes there, and then like there's a big battle taking place outside, and Rand goes in and he gets Kalendor, but that's enough for Rand to win his battle, but that's not enough to defeat all of the Trollocs, if you want to go that way, and however you want to do it, right? Shanjan, however you want to have this big army. No, you need something more, and you're still trying to push forward this idea of it's everybody together, and that's ultimately the way they're going to finish everything. Then Matt blowing the horn too could be cool. And I think having those take place at the same time would be cool, and then you would have built up this whole season of hunting for the horn, and then we think Fael's already been cast for season 2.
Yeah, hope so. Yeah. and again, she's a hunter for the horn, starts off that way. Yeah, I've actually liked it. I thought a lot about, how do you bring those big events together, and really, because the Great Hunt is honestly just some more world building where we have Varen, we jump through portal stones. There's Pot on Fane has the freaking horn, going to Almuth Plain. You've got the White Cloaks, the Shan-Chen show up, and it's just a lot of running around and chasing. And then you have the Black Aja and things like that.
And you have the Dragon Reborn, which is the shortest book.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the Dragon Reborn is people looking for Rand, and Rand being out on his own, and them just crossing paths in the dream world. I think you could really blend those two books together. I think you could knock out both books in one season by blending them together.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool because, I say cool, and people are like, "Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?"
But like, we're just trying to think. I mean, put your cap on there for a second and pretend that you're Rafe, and you have a budget and you're limited in money.
You get 8.
What do you do?
You get 8 1 hour you get 8 hours. And again, if you I think it could ultimately end up going to like 14 seasons. Who knows, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's like if Game of if it gets not that I don't think it's going to get as big as Game of Thrones, but if it gets to be something to like that level,
right?
Like even something like The Flash. Like The Flash is a really big show. I don't think people realize like how big of a show like some of those things are. I mean, if it gets to that like streaming numbers where it's like a top 10 streamed show, they might say, hey, you can have more seasons or you can have more episodes or whatever, but you're still limited to a certain amount of time, in order to do this. So there's no way I don't think you're going to get 14 seasons, a book a season. So you're going to have to at some point start moving stuff around.
And one thing, if you're, this is, why save if you're not really sure what you're going to get and you want to bring people into this, get us right to the best parts. Take us to, go off with this thing And then if it's really successful, you can do what Game of Thrones actually did, which was say, all right, wow, we did it. We've broken through. We have an audience. We have subscribers. They're going to come back for this. Now let's keep driving the story forward, but go back. What is something that we missed that we could actually weave back in here that's a cool story element?
Yeah, they did that in Game of Thrones with Balon Greyjoy's death. Happens in like season 6, I think. Season 6 or maybe and it's like that actually happens in like book 3. So I mean it's like that should have happened seasons ago.
Right. I just think it'd be really neat. Be a kind of a just a cool way to do that. So
comment here, maybe the gem has something to do with the Eye of the World. Matt sure does have the best artifacts in the books.
Yeah. Yep, that would be cool. I don't know what it would be, and I don't know if it's something from Rudion or if it's something that they can channel through. And I was trying to look just for like normally the figure, like the Angreal and stuff like that, are actual like figurines or something, and they look a certain a distinct look. That looks like just a stone, like some special stone, and they show it a couple of times. He picks it off of him as if it's valuable. So like, what could that be, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just looking up here because there's a lot of interviews and stuff like this. Which character, Ryan, I'll ask you, which character do you think is the most different from the books?
I don't think there's too many that are that far off. We've been introduced to a lot of side characters just a little bit, so I'm guessing that it's probably going to be in that area in the end. I don't know. I guess Matt, but like you keep saying, did we not like Matt because of after he gets the dagger, or was he unlikable in the book? Is his character come off as such a jerk in the book before that? Because they kind of tried to point to that in the end, but they left it really mellow. So I'm not sure. I'd have to go. I guess I have to go back and reread the first book then.
Let me try something here, Matt. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna see if I can share my. I don't know what this is gonna do. I know we're live. We're hanging out here, guys. Real casual. Pop in, by the way, if you want to. Click on the link. We're getting closer to that 1,000 subscribers.
We're pretty close.
There is a.
We're 6 away.
6 away. All right.
6 subs away.
Yeah,
guys, if you hit the like button, by the way, on the YouTube, that definitely helps. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, wait, can you guys see? I don't know. I'm gonna go back here and look. Can you guys see? There we go. Okay, all right. So this is so cool. On Prime's page, you can go look at. So I was trying to see, did they have the artifact listed anywhere? Right. Let me expand this a little bit. Is that expanding for you guys? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Moraine's jewel. This was what they were using to show. Matt said in our review that the pulsing happened the same way. Really cool. We have Aes Sedai Great Serpent rings. Just a nice close up on some of this stuff, which is really, really cool. And we had our questioner jingling those. Golden rings shaped like a serpent, biting its own tail. They are worn by Aes Sedai. And they're present on one finger, indicates to all that the wearer is a member of that sisterhood. The color of the ring's stone represents the wearer's Aja. So that was pretty cool. We've got Trolloc weapons here. We have, Blades of Thakandar. These black bladed swords wielded by Fades are forged at Thakandar. The final step in the forging of a blade involves the execution of a living human. Like, they have this stuff right out here in front of everyone on Amazon Prime. Like, this is pretty cool that they're doing this, you know? Yeah. All right. There's that. Land sword. All right. Just looks good. Land looks awesome. Look at this guy here. Right. Perrin's hammer and axe. Wow. The hammer is the blacksmith's tool of creation used to shape metal into desirable forms. Heavy and powerful. It's primarily used to create. The axe, on the other hand, is first and foremost a tool of destruction and violence. There's that. Going through Rand's heron mark sword. We've got this, you can see right here. We've got the heron marking on it. Looks pretty awesome. Padan Fane's wagon. It's on here. I've been looking at it, trying to figure out what's in here. Lanterns herbs, threads, brushes, and other trinkets. So there's that. And then Tom's guitar. We have that there. So, yeah, the shop is here, by the way. I haven't had a chance to go in there yet. And I don't know if we've got any. Matt said there was merch in there, and I hadn't had a chance to really go.
There's merch. Well, it takes you to an Amazon just sort of loading page where there's merchandise over there.
Look at this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
World.
A lot of the extra stuff that's over there is really cool. And as I haven't watched them, but did you watch? We have a question here.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the animated shorts? I thought they were better than the show.
Well, I don't know about that, but I did like them. I did like them, and I thought they were good, and it was cool that they add lore and history. And see, I think that's what they're trying to do is give us all this extra stuff and say, look, guys, there's so much that we can't just put it all in these episodes. We're on the budget and the sets and all these different things. I know people are upset about some of these decisions. Book people are upset. Your normal person, like my girlfriend watched the first episode and was just like, it's awesome. I mean, like, I don't know anything about this, but it looks cool. And I like that girl. She's cool. And this person seems cool. And there's that. I know book fans are like, oh my God, I wish it could be more. And it is what it is. So, but I did like the animated stuff because it showed you Lews Therin walking around. His cloak goes right over that of Ileana, and she's dead. He's killed her. The Dark One, like let his took away the madness so that way he could see what he had done, which was further torture to Lews Therin. And then you have Manetheren, great battle at Manetheren that was shown. And then you have the greatest warder and greatest swordsman, air quote. They talk about the quarterstaff and the fight that goes down there, which was really cool. So yeah, friends, I'm just looking here, fleeing the two rivers, group hides. Like they've got some. They're just showing us Egwene and Perrin, Tinkers. What happens when you click see more? Wow, encounters at. Look, they've got names for stuff in here too, right? At Breen's Spring with dates and time.
That's the town, right? The little town.
Yeah, I guess so.
In the valley.
And so you can click over here and you can pull this up and say, okay, cobbled together at the edge of a quarry. This place is, by every definition, a mining town. The people are as gruff and as chiseled as the quarry in which they toil. So really cool. They're giving you a lot of stuff here. This is all stuff we're going to have to... I haven't had a chance. Again, been kind of blown away by the amount of stuff we have to
and it just goes to show you that there are literally dark friends everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
How does one become a dark friend?
Matt.
Do you just sort of say, you know what? Like, all right, I'm in. And then what, the dark one just speaks to you? Do they send a letter? Like, how does it? I don't know that it's ever actually. Is it ever actually said in the?
Yeah, you get more
in the books.
You get more on the Dark Friends and the oath that they have to take and things like that, and you learn a little bit more about it. Yeah, I don't know if that it's written down exactly. It's more just implied. And someone can correct me in the comments for sure.
Is there like an office you have to go to? I mean,
there's an application form,
right? I mean, you have to fill out an application with pay with postage. I mean, how exactly does that process work?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is
so that's the map, right? Okay, so the map is lining up to what we kind of that.
Wow, though
it's a little different.
Look how far. So hold on. It's a little different. There's Shadar Logoth. You're saying that we went from Two Rivers all the way to Shadar Logoth, and then boom, we bounced over here to Breen's Spring.
Right.
And it looks like this is where Egwene has gone. Egwene and Perrin are up here.
Right.
Matt and
what's that one that's south? What's that? Well, there's one right there. What's that? Oh, just south.
Southern Forest. Okay. Large, massive juxtaposition.
So that I think is where Moiraine is, maybe. Yeah, that's where Moiraine. That's where Moiraine is right now.
Okay. Interesting.
So they're only giving us things on the map that we've reached in the
as
episodes.
They come. Yeah.
Dense.
Which is crazy because we went to Tarn Ferry, and then they're just traveling east. They're all lost. Ryan, what do you think of the White Cloaks?
I really liked it. They make them come across as, they do a good job of how they come across in the show, to where you learn that I was really surprised the one whispers into Moiraine's ear about, go see the Aes Sedai. That really surprised me. I'm not mad about it. I didn't see
Right.
that coming.
He says it though, because I watched it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I watched it last night, and when he said that, he actually, I mean, he says it loud enough for the other guy to hear. So the other guy had to have heard, like straight up, the questioner
Mhm.
that the and the questioner, as is he somebody who we know in the books? I don't think they gave him a name, did they?
Guys in the comments can let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Oh, did I freeze up? I totally did, didn't I? I froze.
That's okay.
Bummer.
It'll
Gosh,
come out.
son of a gun.
It'll come out of it. That's okay.
That's it. Let me take the let me remove my. There we go. Let's see. Oh, I'm still. Oh my
You're
gosh.
froze. It's okay.
Son of a gun. Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think it's His name is Valda. I think it's Emin Valda. I think.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I think so, but I could be wrong. But they made him a questioner, so I don't know. Let me go check. They called him a questioner, and I thought he was someone different.
Yeah, because he's Valda in the things. He starts out as the Lord Captain, right? And then after Pedro Niles murdered, he gets he's Lord Captain Commander.
Mm-hmm.
I did like how they differentiate between the warriors and the questioners with the gold shoulder plating versus the silver shoulder plating.
Yeah, I thought that
which
was
is
cool.
going to be helpful for the viewer.
Interesting.
I don't know if we're getting Ez back.
Oh, I'm coming back here.
No, he will. It'll let me try
Jenny,
something.
Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, okay. Let me fix this then real quick.
Maybe remember you can turn your camera off and then turn it back on.
Yeah.
That might fix it.
Oh, you try to share your screen on a live, and this is what happens. My God,
it's okay.
It's a freaking dark one.
It's okay. Let me see here.
There we go. I had a question for you guys about the Children of the Light. I don't know if I sent it to you in the little chat that we have going with a bunch of us. Was it weird that he patted her down?
That's a little weird.
I'm surprised he didn't do more.
From the books? And then the next question I have, and it hit me a little bit later, how could he look at Lan next to Moiraine and not at least have the deep suspicion that that's an Aes Sedai with her warder? I mean, right?
I think he sucks at his job.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that she. I mean, you're literally. I mean, just the clothing alone. If you've already caught like 7 or 8 other Aes Sedai, it's really just the colors of their outfits that change, but the way it's designed and everything is pretty similar.
Is he patting her down because he's looking for the ring? Because she hides it with Lan, which I thought was really cool. But I mean, I'm assuming that's what the pat down. He's looking for the ring,
right? Yeah, I would have to say, yeah,
right. And she seemed to know that. That's why she's giving it up and everything. Like, what do they do? Here's another thing though. So I don't think they just any Aes Sedai that they catch on the street. I don't think they can just take them and say, we're going to kill you and we're going to name you a dark friend. I actually think they find ways, like with that yellow, to say, no, you're a dark friend. Even though you're Aes Sedai, you're dark. You're a dark friend, and we're going to kill you for some other reason. We're going to try you, question you, and so on. You've been questioned, boom. But I don't know that they would do that because they're not in open war with the White Tower. Otherwise, they'd just be there laying siege to it. But I think when they can catch them and find them in vulnerable places and take advantage of having the upper hand, they will.
Yeah, because they haven't given us any reason for why he does burn the one. Like, they just show us the event. They don't give us any backstory leading up to it. So if you're new to this, you're looking at it, and that's your thought, is that these guys are out there solely to take out Aes Sedai. And I don't not like it. I'm curious to see how it's going to go with the show.
Yeah, and so that guy you mentioned, Ryan, that Jeff from Bornhold, who said, "Hey, go talk to one of these." He's like the only one in the beginning who somewhat seems like a good, honorable person. And even what's tough though is like when he first meets Perrin, Perrin has killed some White Cloaks because they killed Hopper and so on, and he's sort of
Mhm.
like, "I don't think so." You know, like you don't kill one of the children and get away with it. So like he's holding him to the law and is gonna, kill him for that. But on the other hand, he's saying, "Hey, we're not calling everyone a dark friend," but he does have one of the characters we care about in a situation, and Perrin will answer for that later
Mhm.
down the line in the series.
Okay,
Do
so
you think
oh, go
his
ahead. Go ahead.
sorry,
No,
do
go
you
ahead.
think his
No, go ahead.
son is in that crowd there that's going to be introduced later, or
Yeah,
if he's
Dane,
introduced in the show? Yeah.
Dane Bornholm. I think so. I don't know if he's been. I don't know if we had a name for
If
him or
they've yeah.
I bet.
Because
I
it's
bet he
down
is.
the road, so it may not show up for a couple seasons, or maybe
Right,
because
because he's the guy right in the Two
he
Rivers
take
who's like
yeah.
staring down Perrin, like I'm gonna kill you. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So IMDb does have. We found these a couple of days ago, and I couldn't find them. But they do have them. So IMDb does have the episode descriptions, like like your little TV guide, sort of like 1 sentence description of the episodes.
Yeah.
So the next episode, The Dragon Reborn, Moiraine struggles with an uncertainty while Lan struggles with their new companion. Rand wonders about Matt. Egwene and Perrin take their first steps down a different path. An incredible new power is unleashed on the world.
A new power.
Well, because at this point we've only ever really heard in the show, they've made it very clear that it's like women's, it's all about like the women are the ones with the power, right? And like Moiraine talking to Egwene. So I think because remember in one of the Amazon things we saw where they were talking about, they're showing like a bunch of stuff, but they showed you, hey, there's going to be these little extras. The name for the extra for episode 4, which isn't out yet, but at least in that trailer, was Sidene and Sidar. So I think that the male power is going to be explained in the next episode, which is probably the episode where Logain breaks out, right?
Okay.
If it's unleashed. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so you don't think he doesn't break out in this next one? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think he does. I do
Oh.
think he runs he breaks out in this next episode. I think all the stuff we saw in the trailer of him like, using the power to destroy the cage, and then like he uses the power to push everyone back.
Yeah.
I think that's that episode.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that would be so that's the new power unleashed on the world.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a new power, but for the viewer, for a first time viewer who's watching this without touching the books, or really, it's a new power. So I think that's that episode. The episode 5 is Blood Calls Blood. So a lot of these things we've known for a while, the titles of the episodes. Perrin and Egwene run into a familiar face. Matt and Rand see strange ones. Moiraine and Lan mourn their loss.
Huh. So which episode is that?
That's episode 5. Perrin and Egwene run into a familiar face. Matt and Rand see strange ones. Moiraine and Lan mourn their loss. So remember we saw that one where it looked like there was a funeral or something like that. So probably somebody dies in the battle against Logain.
Right.
Which looked like it could have been the case, remember? Or it could be White Cloaks. Because remember was like there's been a scene where it looks like the White Cloaks are in a forest, like hunting down that's when what's her name? We saw it kind of in the trailer.
Alana.
The Green Aja. Yeah, Alana.
Yeah, okay. So then what are the strange ones though? That's I'm thinking about Rand and Matt.
Who's the familiar one?
Is that what it says? The familiar one?
It says Perrin and Egwene run into a familiar face.
Oh, I was thinking
who would that be? Who would that be if they're on their way to Tar Valon? They're still probably walking out in the wilderness, or not the wilderness. Maybe they've made it to a city. The only thing I could see is maybe Padan Fane.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
They're going to start showing him getting crazier.
Appearing up. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be because who else have they seen? I mean, they're still with the Tinkers, right?
Right. So it would have to be somebody that we've, because I mean, unless there's somebody from Emmons Field that's all the way out there.
No,
because they're not running into Nynaeve, Lan, or Lan, Moiraine, or Rand and Matt. So it would have to be somebody that we would have been in Emmons Field for it to be a familiar face.
Yeah.
And they haven't met Tom Maryland yet, so
no.
The only thing I could think of is if they go against the books a little bit, and for some reason, Lan and Moiraine have to do something, and they send Nynaeve out to go track down some of the others.
That could work.
Okay.
Because she could track. They introduced that to us.
They did. Yeah.
That could be it.
Right.
Season 1, episode 6, The Flame of Tarvalin. Moiraine faces the consequences of her actions. Matt faces the darkness in himself. Egwene faces the most powerful woman in the world. See, now that we saw somewhere else, and they said it was Moiraine, but this is on IMDb, which I trust far more. Which I'm gonna say that is Egwene facing Suwan. She's having a conversation with Suwan about becoming an Aes Sedai. That makes way more sense now. Right.
Yeah. That'll be cool to see the different Moraine's got a same sort of thing that happens in, so that's Great Hunt. That's some Great Hunt stuff right there already, where they went after the Eye of the World stuff, the Amarylline seed actually goes to Fal Dara, and they are brought before the Amarylline, and Varen Sedai finds out about Rand and what Moiraine and Suwan have been up to. So this will be a front. I think we'll have a situation where Moiraine is just gotta, take the punishment or the scolding in front of all of her sisters, and then on the side, so okay, tell me, who is it? Who's the dragon?
Well, so episode 7, The Dark Along the Ways, Moiraine and her charges are diverted from their path by an unexpected encounter. This diversion reveals many things: Moraine's true goal, Lan's past, the fractures that have grown in the group, and the identity of the Dragon Reborn.
Wow. Well, so something happens. They're in the ways, probably, right? Maybe.
Right.
Guessing.
The episode is titled "The Dark Along the Ways." We know we're going to a Waygate, and I do think episode 7 is the perfect place for the Waygate, and then episode 8 it takes us to wherever this all going to end, which is probably the Eye of the World, which will probably be the name of that episode once we get closer and they reveal more information about it.
Yeah. Okay, so something happens with the Black Wind, and we need to do something to get out, or we channel afterwards, or maybe we go too far into the Blight, or we get the Fal Dara, and there's still some stuff. We're close enough to the Blight that things could happen, or maybe they show us a Forsaken earlier than we think. Right? Maybe something happens.
Right. So it's looking like really the only stuff we might be pulling up out of the Great Hunt into season 1 is like Egwene's probably going to start her Aes Sedai training. Nynaeve probably as well is going to start their Aes Sedai training a lot earlier.
Yeah, so do you think though that they're still going to go with Moiraine when she leaves on this quest, right? Like, you're not leaving without me, because they're at the tower first, and then because the way they leave before is like it's Liandrin saying, we need your help with your old friend Rand, and she's a part of Black Aja, gets them to go with her. It's a trap with the Shanshin. So this will be kind of Moiraine saying, let's go, or they just do it on their own and they get disciplined later for it or something, or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, it's just interesting because, again, think about some of the stuff we've seen with pictures and the trailer and, all of this stuff. Yeah, something I saw from Amazon showed the last episode was called The Eye of the World. I think that's what you call it. I do. But I think it could be different than the actual end because, or maybe season 1 isn't going to go as deep as we thought. And maybe season 2 is really just going to start hammering stuff out because you're like, we have to make season 1 be sort of.
Yeah. Matt, give me just a second. I'll be right back. I got to celebrate something real quick. I'll be right back.
Did we hit it? Did we just hit it? Did we? We were so close. Let's go.
He's not even going to tell you. He's just going to go run around.
Does he have a sign or something? We just did it, guys.
I
We
don't
were
know,
we
maybe
were
he's
we
getting
were
some
so close.
fireworks.
I hope he doesn't light fireworks
He's
off.
gonna burn his house down.
Let's go, baby.
Will we see the Green Man in the Blight? I think so. I think we will too. Yeah.
Oh, it's that time.
It's that time. A celebratory. Let me go grab one. I'll be right back.
You
I'll
go grab one.
too.
I'll man the show here. We'll get a toast going. Ryan, do you need one? Because I can
grab
solo
something?
this.
Do we need
I can solo this.
Ez to take over hosting here for
Here,
a second?
Ryan, I'll pop you out.
something?
I'll remove you and I'll put you
My
back.
fridge is actually empty. I did not.
What?
I did not go reload the fridge, so I have failed.
God dang it, Ryan! You have failed me. Hey, do you still like the old
That's my go-to. Yeah, when I'm doing the seltzers.
This is my go-to, and I love this stuff. I cannot get enough of it. I know it's crazy. People are like, "Are you just drinking like water, man? What's going?" Yeah, it's good for you. Okay, so
Gotta
I
drink
do.
the water.
I do. Yeah.
You guys were talking about those future episodes, and episode 7 being about the ways. You know, the dark in the ways, or the shadow in the ways. I can't think of what he said or you said. Do you think we have to wait that long before we're introduced to the Ogier?
Oh my gosh, man!
Because that's right about the time frame in the books. I imagine they're going to introduce them faster than that. But next week's episode 4, and we're still away from that kind of an encounter.
So I think that might. So a lot of times we see. So like Loyal, we might see him in Tarvalin. I think because I know we met him in Camelin, and it's one of those things where, since we're not going to Camelin, we'll see him there. And I feel like he's been going around looking and stuff. They have libraries. Maybe he's a guest of the Aes Sedai, and he's someone that they could kind of bring in. Yeah, that would be the place and time, because I thought we saw him at the Waygate. I'm pretty sure. And really, we need to see him. He's the one that gives the information on it, right? Yeah,
He's the one that can read the language, though, right?
Yeah, there's basically like, I think he moves the leaf around and stuff like that, and he also has a bunch of knowledge on the
where they are,
and in the ways and how to navigate. Yeah, exactly. When they're in there, he's their navigator too, and can tell them how to move through it. Even though Black Wind, Machin Shin is around, you got to be careful. But yeah, I can't wait to see him. I cannot wait to see him because he's one of my favorite characters. Honest to God, one of my favorite characters. And I used to really like Perrin a lot. I kind of drift back and forth. There's so many characters to like. Nynaeve, I know Matt is like not a fan. Sorry, we're about to lose a bunch of people here of Nynaeve. Friends, let us know your favorite character down in the comments here, and everyone just put Nynaeve, okay? Because I want Matt to come back. Ooh, what? Are you kidding me? Nynaeve's awesome. She is awesome. The energy that she has and just all of it is really great. But my mind's going everywhere here. She had a moment. I saw this the other day where she's crying when she puts her lantern in for some sort of loss.
They're hinting at it a little bit more too, but they're not giving us any details, and I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, it's either something with Layla or it's something with her parents. Matt, there it is, boy.
Cheers, buddy. What do you got? You got the
I got the Corona Seltzer.
I haven't had the Corona Seltzer in a while. You know what I've been getting
mango.
is the Kirkland, which is the Costco brand. It's
Kirkland,
the cheapest, man. Yeah,
my people. That's my people.
Those are your boys. Yeah, right here. Sorry, I didn't mean to. You guys go ahead. You guys were talking about something. I don't want.
We were just talking about. I had mentioned. I'd asked as when he thought we were going to see Loyal. Because the way you guys were talking about the ways are coming up in episode 7, and then we moved into some of this backstory on Nynaeve that they're hinting at.
Yeah, like Matt, we were saying, maybe probably Tarvalin, right? And is where we'll see him. He's got to help us navigate the ways.
I think all of the stuff that takes place in Camelin is just happening in Tarvalin.
Right. Let me say this. You guys are watching, leave us a comment. I brought up Ingtar. You know how much I love that moment. In the first book, I don't mention this enough, but like my favorite moment, one of my favorite moments there is when Moiraine is in the room and she's got Loyal telling her stuff. Perrin is telling her something. She's putting all of the pieces together, and she says that the wheel is weaving a web of destiny. And it's just like this web is forming, and she's seeing it, and she's reading the pattern. And I'm just like, God, I hope in Tarvalin they have like there needs to be like a seriousness, like a meeting of like, what could these things mean? Putting these, like, I want to see the Aes Sedai really get sincere. Like, we've got to do something now, like desperate, like, I don't know, an urgency, like an urgency to get to the eye of the world. And we need to feel that because they have communicated emotion and feels. I have gotten the chills. I have been with Perrin and with Matt both. I was just, a dagger right in the I was like, oh my God, they got me both times. So I want to feel that with the Aes Sedai too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll see that. And I do think I am ready for Loyal, because Loyal, we saw him in those leaked photos. And then, as remember, there's also there's a bunch of stuff we saw in the trailer as well as those leaked photos of Aiel.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get some Aiel story at some point.
I think it's the Aiel War, maybe. And it's like Dragon Mount and like a flashback, or maybe not. Maybe they are there and we're just going to get some of them looking
and Algamar. We're supposed to meet Lord Algamar at some point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll go to Faldara and we'll see him, which is where, again, Inktar should be leading the forces, or should be.
So where does that? So do you think that's? Do you think that's the end? Do you think we take the ways to Faldara?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think so. I think there's a bunch of more discussion in what to do. Moiraine is probably still acting on her own, and that's where, again, your book purist is still going to be very happy. I think that's where we're headed. We're going to see the Eye of the World. Someone mentioned, are we going to see the Green Man in the Blight? It'd be a shame if that was cut. Absolutely. The way you make this more fantastical is you show us an Ogier, you show us the Green Man, you show us some of these other kind of interesting we've seen the Trollocs. Moiraine does the sound when she uses the power against the Trollocs. Go back in episode 1, watch when she kind of charges up and then she uses the power against the Trollocs. It feels super like video game fantasy, and I was like,
right,
awesome.
Felt comment cool. Here, Dennis Nova, I'm confused when they plan on Rand seeing Logain, and then meeting Elaine and Queen of Andor. So in the books, it happens like in between them getting to to Caemlyn, right? Well, it takes place in Caemlyn, but
yeah,
it takes place like when they're meeting up. But here they don't go to Caemlyn. I mean, it's possible they might, but it's pretty much been confirmed that they don't. That
right.
Tarvalin is just going to be our big city. And Elaine is not in season 1. We know that. So it's possible Rand sees Logain. I don't think so. I think we're going to have to capture Logain again in season 2. I think Logain's going to break out, and because we see that it seems like he breaks out. So I think we're going to capture Logain in season 2, and then I think we're going to Caemlyn in season 2. And I think it's a cool way to just kind of build him up and make him like seem that much more powerful. Because in the books, it's like they've already captured and gentled him, and so you kind of forget about Logain and for like 3 books.
Yeah, the flow, the sequence is going to be interesting. They're just going to separate them. Yeah, it's going to be weird as to how is he going to bump into, he does when he bumps into Elaine, he's still really innocent, farm boy, sheep herder, the whole thing, and he doesn't quite know who he is or his powers, etc. And after you go to the Eye of the World and you have that whole experience, and then you meet Elaine, it does feel a little bit different, a little bit weird, but it will be cool. One thing I thought would be interesting is if if Logain is abroad, could you imagine if Loyal was the Dragon Reborn? By God. But like Logain is out there abroad doing his thing, and maybe some Aes Sedai start to shift and think that could be the dragon, and then he is, and Moraine's over here with this subgroup of small individuals saying, no, we are following this guy. It actually could, not that they want to change it this much, but you could get a fracturing of the tower if that were to happen. But just to see that, like, Rand is, I don't know, especially if Logain is so powerful that he can break out and do so many different things, and the Aes Sedai are afraid of him, that would be interesting to see what they
What if Logain doesn't get gentled until after the fall of the White Tower?
Yeah,
like when Suan gets kicked out. That could be season 2.
Yeah, and that would be so. the crazy thing is the way that Suan, that the one, that the rebel Aes Sedai, the way they kind of build sympathy and a following is that they have Logain, and Logain is saying it was the Red Aja who set him up as a false dragon, and he starts really trying to tear them down because he wants revenge, and that's how they kind of keep him going. So it would throw a wrench in it, depending on how long and when and where they're able to bring him in under their control. So I don't know when they're going to show because I feel like you need the White Tower long enough, like halfway through the series, and then it breaks, and then you got to bring it back together.
Well, the character we already know that's going to be the most different is Logain, because Logain's like not really in the first, I don't know, 4 books. You just kind of like see him once, and they're making like a big deal about him. So clearly he's going to be more around and doing everything. Really, I think you could hold off on gentling Logain to where we're at in the book says. I feel like you could still do it after that.
Yeah. Wait. Still do what? What do you mean?
Put gentle Logain we just finished book 5, and where we're at right now, Logain like 1 just sort of like we're hanging out with Logain on the road in book 5.
Sure.
I feel like you could gentle him after where we're at right now.
Yeah, and they could even take another character, Mazrim Taim, who is a false dragon that's running around after Logain, and they could merge the two and say, okay, instead of having Logain, then who is gentled, and the Mazrim Taim, you just keep the same person running around doing harrying or troubling the world.
That's a no for me, but I'm a book purist. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I mean, he's already different. His thing right now is already way different because Moiraine does not meet Logain in the books.
Right.
I mean,
and this is the balancing act that they have for people who are book purist, is like, how do you make it different, but then yet bring it back to something that's normal? Like once you start down this path, as Yoda says, forever will it dominate your destiny in this regard. So like, that's kind of what they're doing. Once you start down this path with Logain, what are you going to do? He's really going to change things, and you got to find a way to bring it back to where we were in the books and stay true to the spirit of the character and the sequence of events, which is going to be tough, I think, because there's so much. Yeah, I don't know, but
if Loyal was the Dragon Reborn, he would have fought the Dark One and put the world back in order by the end of book 1. Talk about being nasty.
Absolutely would have. Good old Loyal. I hope
Dana did say in the show that one of the places she would like to see would be an Ogier steading.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hope it's beautiful, and I hope it's something that's really just peaceful and calm, and it'll be outside of the it's a void in which the power can't be used, and it'll be interesting to see how that works. And
do you think we'll get that scene from the books where they go to and then they've got they're trying to set up Loyal with the other character?
That's great. That's great. I don't know that that's in season 1, but I definitely do think we will, because it seems like we're not even meeting Loyal until episode probably 6 at the earliest.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna, that will be some comedy in the midst of all this seriousness and things like that. Loyal definitely provides that comic relief where his mother said, "Don't tell my mother that I'm here," right? Like, hide me, guys. Trying to hide an Ogier, crazy. But yeah, she's gonna marry me off and things like that. The longing might take him. He might have to go back to a steading for a bit. Yeah, that will be interesting. The other big question I had too was like, are we going to see things like the portal stones? Portal stones happen once or twice, but are we going to do something like that to really take this to high fantasy and just go crazy? I mean, that's in the Great Hunt when they all fall, because I was thinking of Loyal right before he goes to that steading. They fall asleep there. They actually end up trying. When they go to that Ogier steading, they're trying to get to Almouth Plain, and they can't get through because the Black Wind, and they end up using another portal stone with he and Varen using that. And so
that's where they run into I lost the character's name, but isn't that the first introduction?
Oh, Lanfear?
Right, but I'm trying to think of what the character's name is.
Celine.
Celine.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. So yeah, I just would they do that? I thought, Ryan, for a hot second that they were showing us that when she named Rand and like the other
Egwene,
five,
yeah.
I was like, oh snap! Like this is not just a normal dark friend. This is someone else. But you go back to the dark friend social, and I think it's the second book. And that social, they're given instructions. Their images are put up in front of you, like they can see them and they know them, which is real interesting.
Yeah.
So,
how do you feel about meeting Logain in the wild and having a mentor moment about touching Sidene with Rand?
whoa, that would be interesting because here's something about Logain. This might be a bit spoiler for like the book individuals, but he sees Rand, and when he has a talent of like kind of seeing Taviran and knowing who they are and how important they are. That's why he has that mad laugh once he's been taken by the Red Odge and he's being brought into Camelin. He knows something that they don't know. And so that might be interesting if he runs into Rand and sees him and says, Moiraine can't tell. These other people, they're still guessing, but he knows. And he has a moment where he knows something, and he talks to him about seizing that power and not surrendering to it like the female channelers do, but to go in and to seize it. Very different ways in which they acquire, which Robert Jordan does a great job of describing how the different channelers work and how they go about accessing the power. Nynaeve has a bunch of trouble doing that because she is so angry all the time, and her anger helps her get there, but it actually forms
She
this
needs
block.
it.
Yeah, she needs it.
Yeah. It's a good thought by Dennis, though, because right now Rand doesn't trust Moiraine, and in the books, it's a long time before he does. So if he does run into Logain, and it's someone who's gone through the issues that he's now experiencing, it's a natural mentorship ideal in his head, at least at the beginning. So it's a good thought.
Yeah. In our private chat, Matt just shared a link with me, and I'm laughing. I don't know if we can't show it, but we
can't show it, unfortunately.
Got a good look there.
Right
leaks.
there, yeah. Just if you pretty much just typed in Wheel of Time leaked photos, it'll come up. But yeah, they've been stricken down, and pretty much everywhere on the internet, Reddit and everything. But there are a few people that still have it. And you can see a picture of Loyal. It's kind of grainy, and this picture was even the one I just sent you guys was lightened, so it's kind of we'll see ultimately how it ends up looking in the
hopefully
the show.
better
Loyal's
than that.
It's hard to say. That's like it's a grainy photo. It was,
and it's a still. There's like you've talked about with the stills you had from Moiraine early on. You know, once you get you need the
context. You need to see it flowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember when we were on Blousegate and we were like, oh my god, why is she? Looks like do the Aes Sedai shop at TJ Maxx, right? Like, remember that was something like we were saying.
Yeah. A question for some of our viewers here: have you guys seen any of the bonus content? Have you looked into any of the behind the scenes stuff to kind of see what that looks like? So I pulled some of it up, and it's cool. Like you can see some of the costumes, right, without all of the CGI and all the extra stuff. Really cool, man. They put a lot of attention, and it's good. It's visually stunning. This show is a beautiful show. We can't be disappointed in that. So.
Says here that there might be an official picture of Loyal. Amazon Prime Spain. I'm looking to see right now.
Going to the shop here too. Holy, they've got some good t-shirts out here, guys.
It doesn't look good. Whole cast before the Waygate. Yeah, and that's another thing. If Loyal doesn't necessarily look the best in season 1, I'm not super worried about it, just because that's something that can get better in season 2. I mean, a lot of shows season 1. I mean, go back. I said this the other day. I said, even if you're somebody who's like, even if you're a book purist or something, and you just don't, or say you didn't like season 1, go watch The Office season 1. And tell me, how different it is compared to like The Office seasons 2 through the rest of the show. Because like the way Michael Scott looks in that is like he's wearing like a white suit and he's got like slick back hair, and it's like totally different. It happens. season ones for show. Season twos are usually like where most shows really kick off, and a lot of shows season ones that I love. It's like I go back and I'm like, wow, this is not like 30 Rock's a show I love. Season one's like, it's not very good. It really takes a while to get into and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not worried about it too much either. I think you're right. It should be fine. Guys, they have trivia and stuff on here. Sorry, I'm just so blown away by how much stuff they have. And by the way, if you're, because Matt, I know you mentioned your brother, like not being someone who wants to, he wasn't happy with the show. Was very not happy with the show. Like, is he going to keep watching it? Are people going to keep watching?
Yes, I'm
4,
sure.
5,
Yes, I'm sure he is.
As unhappy as they are, they're still going to keep watching, huh? Like it's because it's beautiful. It's its own story. The books will always be there. I know that they can't be. I'd love a page by page, interpretation. That'd be cool. We just don't have the money for that kind of stuff. Even the richest man in the world right now is just struggling to give us the budget we need here at.
Well, Elon Musk is worth way more than Jeff Bezos right now, but
so this is in the wrong hands. It's in the wrong hands.
If it were in Elon Musk's hand, yes, I do believe it would be better than Jeff Bezos. I mean,
Wow. They don't mention the void and the flame at all. What background will Rand have to help him touch the one power? Yeah, I wonder if they are going to do more with that and Tam and stuff. That's interesting.
I'm trying to find this photo of Loyal.
Of the cast.
Well, watching episodes, check X-Ray. Yeah, Loyal new official picture. All right, whole cast for the Waygate. Actor is great with the hair and
yeah. See, there's one I've seen. It's like the photo of them riding up to the Waygate, but you don't. It's like Loyal is. His back is turned, like you can't really see him.
Jonathan, hey, I want to mention here too, because there are some people who aren't gonna, keep watching the show, and they really just did the parent stuff and the Matt stuff really just set them the wrong way. Let me tell you, Matt and I will be back with our reread, friends. It's still there. That's what I always say. The great thing about all of this is that we'll continue on with the reread. We love the book as well, but we're kind of just. I kind of feel like I don't know. They would have really, for me. I err on the side of I try to find the good, Ryan, and everything. You know this from Game of Thrones season 8. By God, Dan and Dave need to send me a personal thank you letter for trying to defend all the things that happened in season 8 because I tried, and I tried to see all the good and tried to figure out how George Martin had talked to them and all that stuff. So with this too, I feel like they would have had to really fumble it for me to completely been like, there's no way. And some people think they have really fumbled it. And I still think it's a beautiful adaptation. It's different. And I think there's a lot of cool things that we need to go back and watch it again. But again, I totally understand people who don't want to. And we got the book. We got the books, man. They're great. The books are stacked. I think every time Matt gets to a new book, he's just been like, holy, who's this guy? And what happened? It's just so vast.
I've really only found one. There's really only been one book that I've disliked. So
yeah,
the rest I've loved, and now we're into book 6, Lords of Chaos, and I'm like, okay, this is. And I'm like, it really picks back up.
Yeah, it's such a good book.
Yeah. So Ryan, where are you? Did you finish, or where are you at? Do you remember where you're?
I gotta go look at the list of them now because I don't have them on my bookshelf. I haven't created a space for those yet.
You need a lot of space for them.
I think I got through 8. I got through the book where, to keep spoilers out of it, they have to deal with the weather. If that gives you the answer, which I loved. I loved that. That was so amazing.
A crown of swords, and then so you're probably into a path of daggers.
Yeah. So, and I might have gotten into that book too. It's been a long time since I set them down.
Yeah. Well, because it is a series that once you get going, you can just take off, and you're like, "Holy, what book am I on?" I mean, you can. Matt and I have kind of had to For him, it's been a little bit, I think, awkward because he's had to stop and record, and then bounce over and do Game of Thrones, and then
You
bounce
get
over here.
so many, yeah.
Right. We
And so it
cover
just-
so much stuff.
It gets a little bit
And
broken.
With this, it's really tough because there's so many characters.
So many.
It's, if it
I
wasn't for some of those wiki websites or any
Yeah.
of those, where you can go check back and say, who's this character? What did they do? Oh, yeah.
This is actually, for Game of Thrones, I've never really wanted to do. I mean, we do the point of view. There's podcasts that do point of view read throughs. Actually, really, the wiki is helpful to me sometimes because I like to just go click on that character and say, full spoilers. Let's roll from the beginning of Moraine's arc all the way to the end, and then let's pick the next one. Lan, let's go. Next character, let's go. Because there's so much, and you gotta just to keep it all in mind. It's really, really interesting. Characters that are really big and important at the very end of the series aren't introduced until midway through the series. And you're like, what? Who's this person? So yeah. Let me see here. I can see him.
Personally, I think the changes of Matt and Perrin are adding more depth to the characters. That's where I'm at.
I like that too. I know people don't like it, but it got me emotional. And I think if you hadn't seen the books, that's the audience they're trying to hook. I asked Matt, like, will his brother and book purists keep watching it? Some won't, but I think a lot of them will. I think they know that. I think they know that if you read the books, you're going to keep watching and see what they do. And you might critique it and come out here. What they're trying to do, they had to almost like set that fandom aside and say, we are trying to bring more people to this, and here's what we're going to do. And I know people get upset about that, but the books are there and they can go enjoy them. And they've done a good job with content creators. I've never seen this, and maybe it's done elsewhere. Matt, they took all those content creators and took them to the premiere and let them interview the cast, the YouTubers. So for
Good
fans,
question, though.
yeah.
Why weren't we invited?
Because you're a dark friend, okay? Because you're a dark friend.
Because I called out Rafe on Twitter.
And you should learn a lesson here. Rafe is sitting over there going, Rafe comes in here. I don't know if you guys know this from time to time. He comes in here and he says, how do you feel now, Matt? He's actually got a burner account.
His light was literally put out on Survivor. For those of you guys who don't know,
pull up the photo.
Rafe, the
Share
showrunner. It was funny. We were talking with our good buddy Sir Jimmy, right? And this is when like the stuff was first coming out about the show. I mean, like the earliest details, and we were just like, oh my god, they're ruining the show. And Jimmy and I found this clip of Rafe on Survivor, and Jimmy's like, we were talking and about like, I don't know, he's worked on this, like, because he worked on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's a good Marvel show. Yeah. And you're looking at all these people because there's a lot of newbies, and you're like, what have these people worked on? Is this going to be a good adaptation? And I had mentioned that Rafe was, the Survivor, and Jimmy was like, yeah, he worked on Survivor, like that's a big show. I was like, no, dude. He didn't work on Survivor. Right. He was on Survivor. And he's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, Then I found there's this photo. Let me see if I can find it. I'm sure
that was like somewhere. Oh, now we're never going to a premiere. Once Matt shows this photo, like this is what happens.
Never.
You guys used to be number 5 on a speed dial.
Exactly.
I did.
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. I was getting in good with Rafe. We were good. I mean, not really, but I mean, I was talking him up on the show. I was hoping for a little bit of, I was retweeting, commenting on some of his stuff.
And he knew you guys were big time because you've been in the New York Times.
That's what that's actually true. Unfortunately, what's going to happen, Ryan, is the New York Times is going to quote us, and they're going to quote Matt talking about Rafe, and Rafe's going to be like, "You son of a."
His light was literally put out. His light was quite literally extinguished.
Once Matt found this out, Ryan, he started saying things like, "He's like, well, Rafe's involved. Not so sure if this show
just do a YouTube search for Rafe gets dunked," and he's like on this rope bridge. He's like a contestant on Survivor. And he's like holding onto this bridge and like supposed to go over, and he literally just goes like face first into the river. Matt, he's like holding on.
What if Rafe was one of the 18 people in here, and he was like, "Let me on, let me talk, let me come in."
Rafe,
here.
you can come on. We'll have you on at any time. I would love to go. I would love to be a contestant on Survivor. I think that'd be awesome.
Actually, I think he's really cool, and he has been very.
He's been very open. He's been very good. Yes. It was we were really just like freaking out because we were just like, where's the trailer? Because they're like, and we're like, the show's coming out. There's like no trailer. Where is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, Amanda There we go, Amanda. Matt's Batman moment. Episode 1 was awesome. That was Matt rushing in to the tear to save his sisters, not to be a hero, but to do the right thing. Let's go. I did like that as well. I just kind of thought, man, it's the whole issue with his parents and his upbringing. It just hits another level that was not there in the books, and people are like, well, that wasn't there. But it is going to pull in people and say, I care about this guy because I've gone through that, or I know what that's like with, my parents' parents or different things. We all come from different walks of life and have our own kind of thing or situation. And I just, wow, it was a level for sure. So
I had a question on Matt, because they talk about in the scene when he's losing a gambling, and I'm wondering how they're going to portray, in the books, it's the dice dancing in his head. How are they going to do that in the show? Are they just going to say it?
His luck is not in. It seems like they are already, like the three of them know a bit about each other, and that, well, he's normally lucky, or maybe it's just not in, or it's coming back and forth. And there's rumors of them being Taviran. So has anyone told them about these rumors? Is that just Moiraine? And does anyone in the village know about that? That's all. Yeah, I kind of wonder the same thing. When does that kick in for him? And right now, while he has the dagger, I feel like there's the sickness on him that it's an evil that he can't
even before, I think
through.
I think it's going to be him learning his powers, or his powers sort of coming up. Is that maybe he isn't? Maybe he's entirely unlucky before the events kick off, and then suddenly it all changes, and that's when he's starting to realize there's something different about him. Because even like Tom sort of gives him sort of a morality lesson and stuff like that. And so it's just a different way to do it. But I do think that like when we're like one season in or something, like season 2, season 3, Matt will be where he should be in the books. I think his just start is just going to be a little different. I don't think his total arc is going to be different.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm with you on that. Let me see if we got another. Yeah, okay. So Dennis was talking about the stealing. That would you guys? I mean, like, does Matt steal from women?
Yeah.
He did here to help out his sisters and his family, but he's got a gambling problem. The guys know this, right? It's not good. It's getting him in trouble. So each of them has a thing that's like some positives, but then they've got some stuff that they've got to deal with that's going to plague them throughout the book and throughout the series, or throughout the TV series. So yeah, even if he did it for his sisters, right? Okay,
which he did, and he's taking care of them. Sorry, go ahead, Ren.
Nope. I did find it curious when Perrin and Rand want to hand him a little bit of coin so he can buy those lanterns, and he says no. That kind of goes against the roguish, unless he's too embarrassed to do it. But
but he's already got them at that point.
Yeah.
Why did he take it then? Right? Why didn't he say I already got it? Like, because he didn't want to say that he. Sorry, Ryan.
That he'd stolen. Yeah, but it was just, for me, that was a little bit of a likable moment. To me, I mean, I don't know, looking back on it now, if it should be, but in the moment, I was like, at least he didn't just take it and run with it. With those three together, it just seemed like I lost my
train of thought.
Hey man, that's where I'm at. No, I get you.
I don't have my Corona Seltzer with me. I can't. I'm lacking my powers.
Lacking his powers. That is that. I almost have too much power, so I'll fill in for you tonight. No, but like Matt's character is, to me, it's interesting. They do have this thing with women. Let's flash ahead to the Dark Friend situation where Tom Maryland kills this woman, right? That's a big thing in the book, is that Matt can't do it. Rand's against doing it. But yet he steals from her. He steals from that girl in the Two Rivers. Pot on Vein says that. Can I even trade this here? No, probably not. Yeah, just interesting to see if he can overcome that. Why do that? Yeah. His luck changes after the healing from the dagger.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks, John. Yeah, Yeah. God. But the thing, it hasn't been really Land says don't touch anything in the city. He does touch it. He does seem to be a little bit more angsty, kind of nervous. I just want to go back home, but then yet doesn't. Remember, he's trying to go back to the Two Rivers, got to go back to his sisters and all these different things. But there is something, I just thought of something, Matt. How about when Egwene, they're talking about, normally people are pulled to Rand, right? But like they're supposed to go to Tarvalin. And when when Matt wants to go off and do his own thing, he typically stays because Rand needs him or Perrin needs him in the books. But right now they're all kind of separated, can't really communicate, but there'll be some type of pull, Ta'Viren pull for the four of them. Maybe that's what they're kind of going with here. Egwene would be going where? Egwene's going to Tarvalin. It could just be that they're going to Tarvalin, but I just kind of thought about that. How's the Ta'Viren sort of nature going to affect them in the series? Like, when are we going to see? Was there a Ta'Viren moment when Perrin killed his wife? Was she trying to kill him, and it was some sort of because he swings that just at Rand.
Maybe when Matt gets the tip at the bar, I was almost thinking about that because she was talking about I let him off an hour early. Now it could be whatever. Maybe because he actually was doing a good job, and it's just something that is just sort of brought up there.
Mm-hmm.
Did she get rid of him so that she could take them out one at a time, to trap them one at a time?
Well, she said she was hoping Matt would show up into that cabin too.
But did she need to do them one at a time, or was she worried about being outnumbered?
Yeah, what's
She didn't. I don't know that she didn't necessarily want to kill them.
She should summon
she wanted to summon them and sort of hold them there. I've already called them.
Yeah, already called the eyeless. Yeah, the Fade was on his way. So just locking them in there, and because that door was supposed to be one in which he could not get out of. So, and he basically uses some sort of power kind of. That was like what kind of move was that? I've never, normally it's like he just extra strength. The power just gives him the boom and just knocked the door down, which was great. Generally the cast is amazing.
Everybody in the chat is saying that perfect. Dana was great. She was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah,
for a second, I literally thought she was Lanfear.
Oh, me too.
Not that she is going to be the person that will play Lanfear throughout, because they talked about like early on that the way the pattern like puts you out, how long does it take to come back? I was thinking for a second that maybe you would do something where it's like they're possessing other people or something like that, just because the way she was talking as if she knew them. I was almost like, oh my God, is this Lanfear? A way to sort of have this person be possessed or taken over or whatever. And then until we get the actress, which I think they've already cast, who's going to be Lanfear, like to go throughout.
Yeah. Yeah, I did too. I thought, that can happen, right? Just the things you can do with the power. The more I've been reading. So Ryan, I'm kind of where you're at.
Right.
In my reread, way ahead in the series, they learn a crap ton, do they not?
Mm-hmm.
They can do stuff and they can cloak individuals. They can use the power in ways that disguise, who a person is. Now, Ryan brought up a question here in our private chat, and I think we can bring this up, Ryan. So your question was basically, go ahead if you want to ask it.
I was just curious because we were talking about Matt and we were talking about where we see the rest of the season going. I was wondering if you guys thought, is Padan Faint? I don't know how they're going to say it. Is he going to steal the dagger? Because they need to go track the dagger down to complete the heal on Matt.
Right.
But that's when you look at the timeline of where they're going to have to run into him and then they're going to have to chase him down and get it and then get to where they're going. I don't know. It's kind of a tight fit. I hope they do it. I could see them not.
Well, first of all, the casting for Padan Faint is so
great.
Great.
He is so good. So good.
Good. So good. When his smile, so he's sitting there, and by the way, he's kind of doing that thing where he's like kind of just leaning, he's just leaning, watching. The Trollocs are running by, and he's just
hanging out.
He's got that grin on his face too, where he's like, and he just turns and walks behind his wagon. I'm like, oh my gosh. So like, I'm wondering a whole bunch of things about him. Like a Mordith situation. Did Shudder Logoth? Did he go through there? Will there be some story about him?
We didn't get him. We didn't get that. We didn't get Mordith.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. if he's gonna, because what's easier to do is just to Matt has the dagger and Moiraine heals him in Camelin as a temporary kind of fix. We're gonna need more people, and they're about to separate him from the dagger because it's got that hold on him. I love it. Again, it's Robert Jordan does a good job of magical items mattering and then doing special stuff with magic to separate you from the item, and all those things are really cool. And what the dagger can do when it touches your skin is awful, right? But I don't know if he's going to steal. That's a really good question. I think I think they might just separate him from it, and it might not be a thing.
I think they're going to.
What do you guys
What
do you guys think in this, and toss this to everyone in the chat? What do you think about the opening? Our opening credits. They're different. If you look at the one in episode 1, or episode 1 is just a logo sting, like it just sort of pops in. Episode 2, it's like Moiraine standing there using the power. Episode 3, I think, is Egwene, the way it ends, and she's just standing there. So I think that they're gonna be maybe a little different every time. Wait, but what do you think of it? The opening, like, you know, where it's like weaving the opening credits.
Oh, the opening credits. Okay.
With the theme song and everything. Yeah. What do you think about that? Let
me look real quick. So that was in episode 2.
So I like episode 2, the end of the opening credits. It's like it shows Moiraine and like the power is exploding out of her. And then episode 3, I think, was Egwene standing there.
Okay.
So I think maybe every episode they're going to show a different character.
I see. I didn't even notice this. See, these are the things. This is why we do this kind of stuff.
Because if they didn't do it episode 1. So if you do it, if you have a different character at the very end of that last little second of the opening, throughout you'd have 7 more, and that would be our 7, the Emmonsfield 5 plus Lan and Moiraine, which is who they've shown as all the promotional pictures.
Yeah, I'm watching it now. I'm watching the threads being pulled apart.
And then watch the way that little 1 minute, it's like a minute 30 or something. Watch the way it ends, and on episode 2, and the way it ends at episode 3. I believe they're different. I watched it last night. I thought I noticed them being just ever different at the very, very, very end.
Right, and the colors is interesting too. So you got green and gold here, and they're just laying the pattern across the land, and you've got like
I think it looks cool.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it definitely reminded me a little bit of Game of Thrones, but then I really started thinking, and I was like, every opening is.
It reminded me of Westworld too.
Because I've never seen Westworld, so I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah. Well, think of like James Bond movies, right? They have that weird kind of intro. Fantastic intro. Yeah. You got the different
noob here. Are the Red Aja working with the Dark One? Why are they killing any who believe they are the Dragon Reborn? The Red Aja are not working with the Dark Ones, but they just sort of have a different viewpoint than some of the other sisters in the White Tower. There is an Aja that has not appeared in the show yet, that some don't even believe exist in the books, but it's pretty obvious it does. The Black Aja, who might be working with the Dark.
How dare you say that out loud? I don't think it exists. Let me see here. So now I'm on to number 3. That's a great question. Like, the Reds are definitely.
So at the very end of 2, right? You see Moiraine, right?
Yeah. Now I'm looking at number 3.
I thought it was Egwene. Maybe I was wrong.
I'm looking because it looks, again, like you said, it looks the
same except until the very end.
Okay. That'd be cool, just to feature another character and someone else who's being
and if you did that, then each character you could do, since in episode 1 they didn't have an intro, like a big intro, but if you do 2 through 8, that would give you 7 intros like that, and then you would have the 7 characters they've shown up in all the promotional art, which is the Emmonsfield 5 plus Lan and Moiraine.
Yeah. So what's really cool is too, they show all of the different Ajas here. And they've shown a lot of the Aes Sedai. I kind of wonder if like this is, I know obviously the intro could change for season 2, but like, God, when are we going to weave the dragon in here and the dragon's banner and all that kind of stuff? Right now, we're just setting up the White Tower and Aes Sedai, female channelers, the whole thing.
It'll probably change in season 2 and season 3 and stuff.
Yeah. Wow. So all I'm seeing, I don't know, man.
At the very last little bit, I think it's different, isn't it?
I don't know. I couldn't really tell. I really could
All
not.
right, now I gotta go look.
Matt's gotta go look.
While
There
he's
we
looking,
go.
let me ask a question that I
Yeah.
had the other night when we were watching these, and I didn't throw it into our thread. In the beginning of the first book, they do a lot of talk about Egwene's horse and how concerned Rand is for her and the horse, and I think it's Bella, right? The horse is Bella.
Yeah.
Man, I hope that's not the one that disintegrated at Starlagod.
Oh my!
That was the first thing I thought of when I saw
I'd be
that.
done. I would be done.
Yeah. I'd
be out.
So.
If they kill Bella, people literally. I remember before the whole thing came out, they're like, if Bella dies, like I'm out. Like I'm done with the show.
Right.
Because it makes a kind of a big deal about it in the books, and I did like in the episode that they do show Moiraine healing the horses to give them the strength and the energy and the stamina to continue to run. But that's all that they give us on the horses, and it seemed like in the books we got a lot more.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So Peter Griffin is in here asking how many Ajahs are there. David replied with 7. Matt, I would say 7, but Matt would say there's 8. Right?
I would say there's 8.
He'd say there's 8, and but yeah, there are 7.
Okay, sorry. Okay, no. Okay, so sorry, it's not Egwene, but yes, it is different. So because you see all of the Ajahs in the season 3 and episode 3s is different than episode 2s. Just the last final frame of it. In this, it shows all the Ajahs and it shows a weave spinning. But in 2, the opener shows like Moiraine using the power at the very, very last little frame of it before it goes into the Wheel of Time logo. So they're different. So that's just something cool to
gotta pay attention to the intro now. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what's really cool? When actually, Ryan, when you look at the intro, so there's the last clip that Matt's talking about. It's almost like there's a little tiny explosion, and then it kind of like zooms, it goes out and comes back in, and then it's all dark like there's stars, and it reminds me of the dream world, being a dreamer and going out and finding different dreams, like those little pinpoint stars where they might go and find someone's dream. So that just little subtle things like that they might be incorporating to show us more,
just sprinkling stuff in. Yeah.
Just another layer that is interesting. So let's see.
Oh no, it's the same. Sorry, I'm dumb. Never mind. It's a few frames before it. It's a few frames before it where it shows in the intro Moiraine like using the power and blowing stuff up. Sorry, I thought they were. Maybe I was just not paying attention, but it's the same. Never mind.
Both
of those shots that I was saying are in the intro. Yeah, both black Ajahs are not officially considered as an Ajah in the classic sense. Yes.
That would be really cool, though, if they decide to go that route and start changing the intro as the wheel weaves. The wheel changes. It would be interesting if they incorporate something into that.
Yeah. David, yes.
So yeah, Peter Griffin here. I thought I seen a book reader ask why a Trolloc didn't talk to Rand in episode 1. What did it say in the book to him? Narg. So there's only one Trolloc that actually ever says any like recognizable word. And it is Narg. It's okay. I think we have somebody, a patron member, joining the stream here. Todd?
Let's go. Todd.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Oh man, doing well. So remind me, how far are you in your reading? Did you finish the series?
Yeah, I finished the series.
That's what I thought. That's what I'm talking about. But didn't you started around the same time we did, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Todd there just took off. So we were talking earlier, like basically, I mean, like you can hit this series and just start. And Ryan, you took off with it as well, and it just can get you just get carried away. Just absolutely get carried away. So, Todd, have you seen episodes 1, 2, and 3?
Yes, I just finished episode 3 tonight.
Oh my!
So what are your thoughts? What are you thinking so far?
So I went in it with an open mind. Knew it wasn't going to be exactly like the books. I've been pleased with it so far. Visually, it's absolutely stunning. They made some changes that I don't know. We'll see how they pay off in the long run. But
right,
I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I think too, for me, it's kind of like you gotta wait and see a little bit, and just is it going to pay off? That's a good way to put it. Like let's watch and see what happens, and see if we get to a point where we understand more about Perrin's wife or Matt's family, or those things. The sequence of events too, and Logain and those changes, are they going to make more sense down the line? Right now, I know some folks are frustrated. I think overall, for the most part, Matt, in our comments and just what we've seen, our small little sampling, it's been overall fairly good. It's been like people are like, okay, good. It looks good. It feels good. The characters feel like the characters that I read about, even if they're not doing exactly the same thing, they still feel pretty good. So I was happy with that. And I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll find out on Thanksgiving what happens with Logain. Logain to me is like one of those big, going to be really, really different changes that he's caught, but he's gonna break out, Matt. According to the trailer, he's breaking out.
He is definitely breaking out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, okay. Did you? So Todd just finished. Wow. Did you have any like favorite moments? I guess just from the first episode. I guess how did the first episode hit you? Because that one was the one that hit me the hardest. Like I was blown away by everything that was happening, the emotions. Trollocs were literally just backhanding people, and they were flying 10, 15 yards. I was like, whoa. So
yeah, I thought the Trollocs were super scary, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job with that. I think like the promo work that they did ahead of it, you didn't get to see them real well, and then like actually seeing them in the first episode was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I think they did a good job with it.
Did you see so to all the guys in here, like there was like that smaller little tiny Trolloc that was running around. I just kind of thought it had different sizes and stuff, so that was good to kind of vary, because sometimes you look at orcs and you're like, okay, although I think we did an amazing job in Lord of the Rings with the various orcs and stuff like that, the different sizes, but you want some distinction between our Trollocs. They can't all just look exactly the same, and I think they did do that, and they'll do it more as we move on in the series. David says here, I appreciate the change of the white cloaks. They're actually,
Fanatics. There's a couple of comments here talking about the white cloaks. I agree. The white cloaks aren't even at like a threat until like book 4, and then they're really not. They're kind of like flies on the wall. But in this, they're like killing Aes Sedai and burning. Like watching them burn, and it's like, okay, there's way.
Yeah, they stepped them up a notch for sure. They made them much more imposing.
Right. Yeah, that was scary. I mean, like I just couldn't believe. And so at first we were kind of blown away in the trailer. We're like, okay, look, he's definitely got like a yellow sister, and he's burning her at the stake. And then in the episode, they zoom in, and you can actually see that he's cut her hands off. I'm like, how the heck did he actually capture her? And then Ryan and I were talking about like the idea here is not that all Aes Sedai are like I don't think they can openly go after all of them. Otherwise, they'd be sieging the White Tower. So they've got to find, like the White Cloaks do. We found a reason. We questioned her. We found out that she is actually a dark friend, and they took advantage of her being in a situation where she was outnumbered. Maybe couldn't use. They know the rules. They know.
Do you think there's going to be do you guys think they're setting up a potential major battle between the White Cloaks and the Aes Sedai that could take place? I mean, this total show difference, but I mean, do you think that they could set something like that up?
Yeah, they could. They could. Maybe. I don't know that they would do it. Yeah, an open battle. Just when would they do it? I don't know, man. That would be interesting to see them do that. The White Cloaks, though, have to. Again, I think what's going to happen is like people like Jeff from Bornhold and those individuals who, if Galad does come in there, they need to go almost like dark side a little bit here. Like they have been showing them that they're pretty overzealous. They're finding dark friends everywhere. And then they need to come back to the light a little bit, because they're supposed to be the children. It's funny because Ryan calls them the children of the light. Let's call them what they are, right? They're not White Cloaks. They're children of the light. And yeah, I mean, they're fighting for the right side, Matt. They're supposed to be fighting for the right side, so we need them in the last battle.
We are always in the light.
Yeah, unless we're talking about Rafe and the showrunner, and then you're not. Then we might not be. We might not be. But okay, anything? Favorite? I guess Todd also like we were asking Ryan some questions earlier. Some of your favorite. Who is your favorite character, by the way, in the series?
In the book series?
Yeah, Matt. Okay,
Matt by far, yeah.
By far, yeah. Did you? Well, I got to ask you then. So, and I know you said we'll wait and see how it kind of pays off. How did you feel about how they're handling him and his parents and his sisters and that kind of stuff here early on?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting of working in the sister angle stuff. I kind of took away, I guess, a little bit in the beginning of like they're kind of foreshadowing some of his tendencies, I guess, of his normal character, right? Of like what he ends up doing normally. And maybe that's trying to just set it up as to kind of, why he is the way he is a little bit.
Right.
So.
Right. And I think that's so I thought the same thing with Perrin, even though it's a really big change. I think what they're trying to do is show us that why he's so cautious, why he's quiet and reserved, why he wants to think things through, some of the burden that he feels later on in the series when he loses all of his family and those who are most precious to him. I still think they might do that later to him as well. Like he still has parents, and that's what they mentioned there. So yeah, it feels like they're doing these things to Matt and to Perrin to kind of set up their, show us their tendency. Why do they do the things that they do? And also why, comparing Matt to his father, Abel Cawthon. By the way, I actually like Abel Cawthon a little bit in the book series. Like he works with Tam, and he doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. So that was shocking to me because I'm like, that'd be like if you took Tam Althor and said he's out there running around with a bunch of women in town. You know what I mean? I was like, so people who don't haven't read the book series and don't understand Abel Cawthon, it just kind of hits you, and you're like, wow. But then I think they're trying to say, where did Matt get this rowdiness? Where did he get this tendency or this behavior to go out and pinch some barmaids, right, here and there? I mean, where did he get that? So I think they're trying to do that, I guess. But yeah. We got what else we got here, Matt? We got other comments.
I think if they keep going the way they are with the villains, the way they're going might turn out better than the book, especially if they utilize the Forsaken better in the books, which is something you and I have talked about quite a bit in our podcast. Is Balsamon, like by the time we finally fight him in the Dragon Reborn, I'm like, okay, he seems like a fly on the wall. He never seems like a real threat. The only Forsaken that honestly, if it ever feels like any sort of an actual threat, is Lanfear.
Well, especially when Lanfear has that confrontation with him and Tyr. I mean, she really shows off her powers, and then she does seem to be about her own business. And I get it. Like, Rand thinks he beats him. Book 1 thinks he beats him again. He doesn't, and then he finally does. So it's like Robert Jordan. I think when I read somewhere and you guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on this. I think he started off with knowing he could possibly write much more, but you got to see how book 1 does, book 2, and you write your trilogy. And in case it's not going to work, he wrote this trilogy, the first 3, to we'll get to that guy, the guy I've been talking about here, Baalzamon. We'll beat him, and if we have to make him the Dark One, we can call it, if I don't really sell a lot of stuff. But ultimately, he's not, right? And we have to go beyond him, which is sort of crazy. It's like, wait, Rand's like thinking I did all this work. The other thing about the Forsaken, so Moiraine looks tired just battling Trollocs, right? And I thought, like, holy smokes, they're doing a good job balancing some of the levels here, because you can't have Moiraine be over the top, and you got to make like Nynaeve and Egwene, once they learn and they can tap into their powers, because that's what everyone in the fandom really loves to go in there and kind of look and say, who's more powerful, who's the most powerful. You start to play the game of like who would win, and like Moiraine is tired out now. If they get some Angreal, which did you know? So Todd, I don't know if we were asking earlier, did you see the I can't remember, and since you finished the series more recently than I have, the Aiel has that gemstone and what looks like a horse, maybe an Angreal or something. But the gemstone, I have no idea what that is or what it could be. You're right. I don't know. Is that just something they're gonna bring up later, and maybe it does. It must become something, right? Why show us like zoom in on it and show us that Matt takes it. It's either valuable or it's going to be an artifact that he can maybe he trades it with the when he goes to the snakes and the foxes or something later on. But yeah, anyways, the Forsaken have to be super powerful, Matt. When they show up, they've got to come in there and just absolutely wreck some people. And I don't know how we're going to, handle all of that, or we're going to have Rand level up in time to.
Well, the Forsaken already again they feel way more intense than they are in the books.
Oh my god! Someone said Moiraine
Moiraine destroys a pub. She does.
Yeah, she does.
She does.
Yeah. Shame on me. She handles all those Trollocs actually. But she does get stabbed in the shoulder. God dang it, Lan. Like, come on. I mean, he's supposed to have her back there, and she totally took one right in the shoulder.
Here we go. Here's a comment from Amanda.
All right, I got to drop. Take care.
Okay. Hey, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Todd. Good to see you, buddy.
Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Later. And guys, remember, again, people are popping in here. They're members of our Patreon, and you can be in any of those Zoom Hangout tiers of any of our podcasts. We do these hangouts, and sometimes we're just hanging out. Like it's not a live stream, but because of Wheel of Time is big right now, definitely doing that. So that includes I'll just run through the list here as Heroes of the Horn, which is our Wheel of Time podcast. We have Bend the Knee, which is our Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones podcast. Hyperspace Hangout is our Star Wars podcast, and our newly launched The Elder Wand Harry Potter podcast. And we go through all the books of all of that stuff, with the exception of Star Wars. But we do talk some of the books over there. But if you're in any of our sort of Bannerman or Elder Council tiers, then you'll have access to any of our hangouts. So definitely check that out. So we definitely appreciate that, everybody who supports us there. So yeah, tons of fun when we do these. But here's a comment from Amanda. I think the White Cloaks are unfairly judged in the series, colored by the drunken ineptitude of Dane Bornhold. But in the eye of the world, you wouldn't call Jeffrey Bornhold inept or Briar ineffective.
Yeah, that's a good point. And again, it's Dane Bornhold hearing from Child Bayar about what happened at Falma and how it was Perrin, this dark friend, who's killed White Cloaks. How dare he? So he's like, he just gets hell bent on trying to attack him, and it's awful, and it does kind of take over a lot of the White Cloak stuff. Now there is some stuff later on with Pedron Nile, Karadin, and other Eminvalda. It gets kind of dark for a little bit with the White Cloaks, but in general, those are the ones that we see. And really, it's crazy. Like when you bring in someone like Massima and the Prophet, which will happen later on, like holy smokes! Actually, the White Cloaks look okay compared to the Dragonsworn and the Prophet. Like it gets to be a bit nuts. So, but again, Galad is there for that. That's the menagerie circus situation where they're getting out.
Get it out.
Close the tent, fold the tent up, and just get the menagerie out.
Yeah, I am very excited to know that we will not have 6 episodes of circus chapters. So I'm certainly excited.
So hey, book
excited
purist will say, Matt, that if the menagerie's not in for 6 to 7 episodes in one full season, they're out.
Good. Okay. Is what I say. You know what else we might get? We might get Couladin's death on screen. Okay.
Hey, buddy.
We wanted to stick to the books. Well, I'm telling you, that part of the book sucks, and I stand by that until the day until the day I die. That it's just it's bad, and it should be fixed.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. Did Moiraine use an Angreal during the battle? We don't see it being used during Winter's Night.
Right. We don't, and I don't. That's a great question. She does wrap some. Remember, let me go back to the first, the opening to the whole daggone thing. Moiraine I thought she's putting her clothes on, but I thought she wrapped something up or unwrapped something, and that looked like an Angreal. And I've been meaning to go back and look at it. So Let me take a look because that would be cool. She's just leaving, getting dressed. Yeah, because that helps, right? You got the Angreal,
Right.
it's going to help a whole lot, and that's again some of what I love about the Angreal and the Sangreal is that the Forsaken also want them as well, and there's this whole situation where it's try to find one of those. They actually get caught up in trying to find items like that give them more power because they're not just plotting to take out Rand, they're
Yeah.
plotting to take out each other. Yes, she does have. Holy smokes, she does have an Angreal with her, but was she using it? So in episode 1, she does wrap that up with her. Let me go check here.
She uses it with Egwene, right? Don't we see that
She
when
might.
she's trying to teach Egwene that she has
her gem, her gemstone.
gem.
Is that what you're talking about, Ryan? Like the little.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't think
Yes.
that's going to be your Angreal?
Yeah. So that is something that she uses for. It's a trick that she uses, a stone that she uses to kind of channel through, and it's, I don't think, and you guys in the comments check me on this. What exactly is that? Her gem. It's not necessarily like an Angreal. I think it's just a trick that she has learned with the power using that. And I could be totally wrong, so you guys let me know. But the Angreal I'm talking about is she has like a figurine. It's about this. It'll fit in your palm, and it's like looks like a little fat man that she's got wrapped up in a cloth. Let me go triple check here.
While you're checking that, here's another question. Do you think that Leandrin will have a bigger role in the show? Just reading book 5 right now. That's where I'm at too. We just finished book 5 for our podcast. And by the way, we will come back, and once the show's over, we will be diving back through the books, which is my first read, and we'll be starting Lords of Chaos, which is book 6. So probably January, I think, is when we'll dive back into those. I think she is going to have a bigger role than in the books. I feel like she's already Leandrin. I feel like Leandrin already is more important in the show than she is in the books at this point, because we don't really do stuff with her until sort of like book 2 and so on.
Yeah, Leandrin. Being a bigger role. Now she does have a fairly decent sized role in the books. He gets cut off at some point. Oh, in Eye of the World. No. Yeah, no, sorry. No, but yeah, definitely now. Yeah, they're moving her forward. People were asking the question about Elida. Elida is the one who is with in Camelin with Queen Morghese, and then Leandrin is who we pick up there in Faldara, headed back and helps with some of the training, trains them a bit, working for the which Aja, and takes them through the ways to the Shan-Chen and so on. So she's definitely working for some Forsaken. So yeah.
Here's a question here. Peter Griffin, who's new to all this. In episode 3, Tom said the dead guy in the cage was a what? And if he had his mask up, it's trouble. Down harmless. What is it? That is an Aiel. So, you know what, Ez? Let me check this out here. I think, do I have it on here? Yes, I do. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm gonna share something. Yeah, I'm gonna share something here. Because I think this could be. I think this could be helpful to some new people here. So share this. Boom. Okay, so I have this map here. So the Aiel, they're sort of this warrior. They're sort of this warrior group that lives along what you have here, which is the spine of the world, right? And then. So where we're at is over here, right? This is like Emmons Field. This is where we start. If you look at my cursor, for those of you guys watching on YouTube, we're almost all the way right over here to the left. Here's Barillon, Emmons Field, Shadar Logoth, as they're now calling it, and we're heading east, right? And then the White Tower is up over here. So the Aiel are this sort of warrior clan that live like way over here. So to see one where we do is quite a ways away, right? And then I don't think that town is actually on the map, but where would they roughly be?
Who the IEL? Where? Oh,
No, where
So,
where
yeah.
Tom, Marilyn, and Rand are.
Breen.
it was near Four Kings. So you see Four Kings, like
So we're close to we're close to Camelin.
yeah. Where's Camelin? I'm hard to see on that map there.
Sorry, if you look at where my mouse is.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
I'm right on Camelin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Four Kings is right there. Okay, all I can see is Four. Okay. Yeah, because yes, and that's sort of where they go, and so they've just put them in a different location that it's just a different name, and it might have been named actually in the book, but that's the spot that they're at. That's where we see that IEL. So he's gotten pretty far in, and we're looking for Kara Karn, looking for He Comes with the Dawn.
Says, oh wow, they got a long way to go. I thought we were getting close. Yeah, maybe. And yes, good thing to notice there. Redhead. So I take Rand's got some IO blood. Yes, I do. I think that was a cool way to sort of show that's something you should pay attention to. He says, Tom Maryland says, you don't typically see that sort of that coloring. Yeah, this is a really cool map, by the way. Let me zoom out. I can't remember where I found it, but this is one I actually upscaled. I have this sort of artificial intelligence thing that upscales things to 4K, and I made a really nice sort of thing, and I think it works really well when we want to do stuff with it. You can do this, so you can get a better sort of view here. But this, so especially for anybody new, this is sort of what we call Randland, which is the world that we will be in. And it's mainly
like Essos.
I know. It's mainly this sort of segment right over here. So yeah, this is where this Emmons Field's where we kind of start. Shadar Logoth. And then remember they were talking about how there was a war down in the book. It's sort of pronounced more like Giladon. But now in the show they're calling it Gaeldon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gaeldon. So check that out. And remember they lied when they told people where they were from. They did not say Emmons Field. They said Baerlon, and Baerlon's just sort of north of Emmons Field.
Yeah. Sorry, real quick. This is a good comment. So it's Breen's Spring has the inn called Four Kings.
Right. So right cool. here. So here's the Four Kings. So after Shadar Logoth, they kind of got separated, and it looks like Rand and Matt went down this way, but the by the way, the map that they're using for the show might be slightly different with the way some of the mountains and stuff go.
Yeah,
because remember it looked like there was almost a mountain range here, and like they went here, and so it could be ever so slightly different. It looks roughly the same, but
here, let me pull it up. We've never tried this. Wow, experimenting on the. Let me pull this up here real quick. Explore. We'll pull up the map that they had.
And then you can. I'll stop sharing mine.
Because
then you can start sharing yours.
Right here. All right. Boom. So I don't know if now yours you could really zoom in on.
Right.
Mine, I'll try to do a little bit of a zoom and bring us down here. So here's Dragon Mount, right over here. Can you see my cursor?
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you got Dragon Mount.
So the tower should be just north. The White Tower should be just northeast of it, like really more. Yeah, just northeast of Dragon Mount.
Right
where you can see that kind of mountain crease, like that kind of goes down to the.
Wait, did you say northeast?
Yeah, right there, right where your cursor is where the White Tower should be.
Okay. According to your map, yeah, and then, so you've got. Looks like we've got again right here. Breen Spring is where we're at. That was Shadar Logoth, and we've got the forest, and then we've got So they all broke from here 3 different directions, right?
Yeah. So those are the directions that is a little different than mine. The Four Kings is way different, and again, mine is going off of it's something that someone created, but it goes pretty in line with it's all pretty relative. I think it's just you're going to accent some features, but everything over there is still the Aiel Waste.
What the heck is over here?
Yeah. So that's where the Aiel live. Is they're all up over there, and they are like hardcore warriors. By the way, they're awesome, and we will definitely meet Aiel going down the line, right? And then they have like the Maidens of the Spear. So there's a lot of characters. But in all honesty, I don't know, top 3 character for me. Certainly my favorite female character is an Aiel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Avienda, when we won't meet her for a while, but
wow, this is just really cool. Yeah. How far can we zoom in here? This is just really, really interesting. You see some roads, some of the countries. It's very similar to us. It's just that it does have a bit more of showing some mountain range and a little bit more developed here. You have the mountains of mist running up this way.
It's roughly the same. They're roughly the same, yeah.
Large
And there's
line.
other maps. I know I have an official map from, and I believe I've scaled it to 4K as well. So let me pull it up, because this is an official map from the books. So I'll share as if you.
Yeah, here. There you go.
Okay, should share screen. Share here. Same thing, and I've upscaled this. I have this program which uses artificial intelligence, so it really kind of artificial intelligence, man. It's pretty sweet. So it upscales it upscales things, but sometimes it can kind of cartoonize things a little bit. Now, so this is directly from a book. But same kind of thing. You can see. So this has 4 kings over here too, which is more in line than that other map I was just showing. But same thing. So yeah, Dragon Mountain, then Tarvalin just northeast. Then the Aiel Waste is way over here and stuff. So so yeah, really, really cool. And then Barillon, 2 Rivers is all right in there. And so Matt, Rand, and Tom Maryland, they're pretty much on this. You just take this road right up north, and then you're kind of good. Moiraine and Lan are pretty far away, actually, because they've now even gone south a little bit.
They've done a really good job, I think, of showing, like, not getting us too bogged down in traveling. We are traveling, but just clip it, cut it, transition, move us to a different spot. I mean, it's been, you know what I mean? Like, we still, like, it's nice to see that map and say, wow, we've actually traveled a great ways from the 2 rivers, but it didn't feel like it took that much time. And again, chalk it up to the power, the horses, Bella, all that good stuff. And yeah.
Do you think we're going to get the one of the party traveling by the river like we do in the book, or are they going to leave that out?
I don't know. That would be coming up here with Tom and Matt and Perrin. They might. Bail Dolman is just kind of a big deal, an artifact collector. I think I love him, and so it would be.
It's a good character that comes back around later in the book. So it just once we got into this, it reminded me of that, and I was wondering if they're going to leave that character out.
Good question. This is an interesting question. So Dennis asks a question here about the hands, and do you need to use it to weave the power? That's interesting, because anybody can go look at the book covers and understand that Rand actually loses a hand, spoilers, in the books. And so, but it doesn't really. So are they changing that? It's a good thing I like to ask. Are they changing that? And so maybe Rand doesn't go through that loss later on with, I won't say. But yeah. So we've seen the cover. Matt's seen the cover.
Do that. I don't think they'll do that, actually. I don't think they'll do that. Yeah, all you gotta do is look at the book covers. It's not super spoiler. I don't think Rand's gonna lose a hand in the show.
Me neither.
I don't think you need to, and then it's like a pain in the butt to sort of do.
He can be attacked.
In Game of Thrones, it works because then you just have him wear a glove, right? Essentially, right, or gauntlet, whatever you want to call it, for Jaime Lannister for the whole deal. And he's like, Jaime's a main character, but he's not like the main character. Whereas Rand, I don't know that it's entirely necessary.
Yeah, I think some people might look at it like it's too much Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, and that's what Robert Jordan was trying. Again, that whole idea is pulling from different mythologies and different stories and say, oh yeah, the character goes through some sort of loss like that. Yeah, but I don't know that we need to do it either. I hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think they do. Couple more here.
Did Egwene light the fire, and why Perrin not tell her he has Stark Wolf? blood. Yeah. Yeah, I do think Egwene lit that fire.
Wow. Yeah, I think she did. Or was that dream when? Or was
Oh,
that...
so Amazon must have a timeline to show exactly how long it's taking.
Yeah. Okay, John. I just saw it when I pulled up. I shared my screen earlier, and I was looking at it, and I didn't really get a chance to. Here, I'll do it again. Let me get back up here because that was pretty cool. Episodes, explore. There's a timeline. Maybe I have to go. I think you have to go in and click explore. It's interesting. There's so many levels. I feel like I'm going through a freaking video game to get in.
It's pretty great, to be honest.
Yeah. Landmarks. Whoa. Organizations. God, guys. I'll find it. But anyway, yeah. Cool to have the timeline to understand. That just helps us get through some of the travel. It's all part of the show. It's all part of the experience. So, honestly, I can't find it, but I'll figure it out here in a second.
It's great. It's great. Awesome. Let me see.
I don't know if you guys touched on it on some of your episodes or shows that you've done the last few days, but have you guys talked about the thing you're most disappointed on not seeing from the books in these first few episodes?
Yeah, I think Matt asked me that question, and I've been still trying to figure out the answer to. I don't think I answered it.
Right. We're not crazy far enough into it yet to really have something where I'm like, oh, I can't believe they didn't do that. Like, really, the only things, because some of the stuff is shifted around a little bit, like, and I think it actually works better. But like the only thing I can think of that has really been cut out, I would say the single biggest thing cut out is oh god, what's his Mordeith from Shadar Logoth. I think that's kind of a big cutout that doesn't happen. But I don't know that you necessarily really need it. You could still introduce it later. You just do it a different way.
Right. And Padon Fane can be his own type of
the prologue chapter, the Luce Theron prologue chapter.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think we're not gonna have that. I think they're just gonna do it differently. Other than that, is there really anything that we haven't seen as anything major that's been cut?
People were talking about the fever dream and just that
the fever dream.
Rand, yeah, just that Rand thinks about that a lot. Like he does think about that as he goes on. What does my father know? Tam, is he my father? That sort of thing. Almost a Jon Snow situation. Like who do I belong to? Who am I? So yeah, that was probably one. But again, we're so early on that I'm not sure. That's tough to say.
See, for me, I was disappointed because I'd been looking forward to it so long. The beginning of the book, when they're walking into town, and they come across, is it the Murdral or the Fade, whoever? I was so looking forward to that for so long. And then, we get the rocks coming down and they're looking, he's got the bow out. But so I was bummed by that, but it's minor. It was just something that I was anticipating.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they could have, right? They could have. I feel like they maybe could have done it, but
they could have. But I understand. After I thought about it, I think I understand. They don't want to show some evil being that you don't have any context of at the beginning of a show that some people don't know anything about. So I could see why they left it out. It was just something for me.
Yeah, no, I get you there. And those are those little things that. I mean, we've mentioned 3 or 4, and those add up on people. People saying, "Well, Barillon and Min, like when we know it's coming, but that's why we're not saying that one because we know that it's coming later."
Yeah,
some people flame. I'm mad it's not there right now, and so
the flame in the void. Right here's Dennis agrees here too. I'm disappointed not seeing small moments like Tam handing the sword to Rand, giving him some advice when leaving, seeing the bickering between the village council and the women's circle.
Yeah, I like that, and I said this to Matt. I like that we get to see the women's circle because we get to see the village council in the Wine Spring Inn. So it was cool. The show decided you've already seen the village council. Let's show you the women's circle and Egwene. The show does have an opportunity to show us things that we didn't get. The whole idea here too, people like Matt wants to see a battle between Couladin. We never got to see what happened in Emond's Field. We see Rand's perspective when he comes back and there was a battle and Moiraine fought. The show said, you didn't see that in the books. Let's show it to you. You didn't see the woman's circle. Let's show you the woman's circle. So they're going to do things that we didn't see. Like you didn't see Couladin be killed by Matt. Let's show you that. So that's the kind of stuff that they could do where they're saying we can improve upon some stuff that wasn't there. But I still do wish, like Dennis says, I wish I would see some of that tension. We talked about the ebb and flow of, Saidin, Saidar, yin and yang, balance, women's circle, village council business, working together to do things the right way and move forward is this whole idea, is this whole story. So keeping those elements is important.
Yeah. Maybe just do like one or two more here, and then I think we're almost at 3 hours for this. Do you think we'll see all the Forsaken?
God, that's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know that we necessarily have to have all of them. I don't think I'll be disappointed if we don't see I always forget their names. The two that we wreck in the beginning of Eye of the
Agonor.
World.
So you got Agonor.
Right. I can tell you right now, I definitely think I know we're getting a Shamael, Balsamon. We're definitely going to get Lanfear for sure. We'll probably get Grendel. Osmodian.
Yeah, somebody's got. So unless Loghain does that,
that's what I was thinking. Perhaps maybe you could do a shift there, because remember, every person you have to cast every single person. So, awesome, absolutely.
Oh, that's
Unraveling the Pattern. Shout out to him, man. He does great content on his channel. Absolutely.
With him on
I don't know that Osmodian is somebody who I could see getting cut, and then maybe you make a shift where Loghain trains Rand, because I do think, because clearly they've made it obvious that he's going to be a bigger part of the show than he is in the books, which is awesome because I think he's a super cool character, and I still think you could gentle him later, or maybe you just kill him off. I know that sucks, but maybe
dang it, Matt! I'm sick of the gentling. I'm sick of the gentling, and I've had enough of it. I get you though. I get you. Like, so Osmodian could, will we see, the question originally was right, will we see all the Forsaken? Some of them, you know how they do like Voldemort, and he has his Death Eater followers, and like he goes around and he takes their face masks off, and he like names them, right? McNair, Crab, Goyle goes through all of them. Like maybe you do something like that with one of them, and they just get name dropped or something. That would be kind of a cool way to go through.
Rafe has said several times that we can't do every single character, but there will be a lot of named extras.
Yeah,
and so like it won't, like a lot of times extras are like guard 1, guard 2, and he's made it seem like like a character we've talked about, like Huron. Huron's a character who's super cool, the Sniffer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is along with him. I think he's going to be cut, or he's just going to be a named extra.
Yeah. For sure. Just named. I want to mention too, Jonathan makes a good point here that Loghain wasn't around in the Age of Legends. How would he teach Rand? So actually, good point. Good question there, because with the Lanfear, it's not about just learning how to get in and channel a little bit, because he can do that, and he can figure that out and stumble through. But one of the best things they do is they capture some Forsaken, and they say, "You're gonna teach us, and we're gonna learn." And that's how you move that story along fast. So
maybe though, as we're already seeing how, like, Moiraine is already giving them lessons on not only like how the power is important, but also histories. And so maybe you just go that route, and Loghain is just like, he just knows more about than people who spent their entire life in the Two Rivers. And so maybe he knows some more of the histories. And then also it could just be him just teaching Rand how to use the power, and you can kind of just explain stuff that way. I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll have to see. It's going to be a way. It's going to be a ways away. And then LTT does some teaching later on too. So we know we're getting him. He's been cast. So
Yeah. Good point. Wait, who? Who'd you say?
LTT.
Wait, LTT.
Well, I mean, we're trying. We always try to keep a little loose Theron Telemon.
What the heck? That's true, John. Yeah, it's true. Does some teaching later on. Good call. Be able to mix some of them. Like, okay. Mogadine. I tell you what, it's gonna. I tell you what's gonna be crazy.
all the new changes for the pronunciations. Yeah.
Well, that, and then also just like, I'm just interested to see what they do because David brought up like Leandrin, getting the Forsaken, putting the Dark Friends in check, losing their temper, raging on them a little bit. A bit of a bind them with air, make them do things, make them pledge themselves again. Like it gets a little dark. The Forsaken are obviously a little bit dark. Ryan knows what I'm talking about. There's some crazy torture stuff that goes on later on that you're like, wow. So will we see all of that? That's where I was kind of like, God, it could get a little bit intense in this show. It could get intense. So yeah. Yeah, who's going to teach him though? Will we see them all? So Matt, we just saw like Ravine. Will we see that? Balefire. Boom. Yeah. Could it happen? Be kind of cool, right? Be kind of cool to see it all happen. I mean, the dream world, the fight there. If we get 8 seasons, you can do it for sure. But I mean, in Eye of the World, I don't know that you
have to throw all 13 is the thing. I think you could knock it down to like 7 or 9, and I think it'd be okay.
It gets maybe to be a bit much. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the way they could do it is they just have some of the Forsaken take some of the other ones out.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you could say there were 13, but only 9 remain, or something like that. You don't necessarily have to show at each and every one of them. And again, maybe you do over 8 seasons or however long it's going to end up being. Maybe you do go that route, but that just seems like one of the things that's pretty easy to sort of trim down a bit in an adaptation.
Yeah,
because that's ultimately the question: is how do you trim stuff down?
Right.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough because you have so many characters already. Like people are already gonna be a little bit upset about some. We have so many wise ones. We have so many maidens of the spear later on. We have royals and Tyr and Kyrian, Camelin. It's a lot to balance. I don't think we're gonna have all those cities. I mean, we're gonna have the cities, but I don't know that we're gonna
travel there.
And there's a lot of events that you can. There's a lot of events you can merge too. I mean, the girls don't have to get captured 47 times in the first 3 books.
Hey, buddy.
I think you could get the.
I want my capturing, and I want it to be on the TV show. Okay.
Right. I don't know that we need them to get captured. Every 2 steps along the way. Right. I don't know that we need that.
Oh yeah, John. I know this is the kind of stuff, John. See that I'm talking about. There are things in the Wheel of Time that are a bit darker. They're just alluded to, but if they wanted to do this, they can show more.
I think
they showed an Aes Sedai's hands chopped off. They showed intestines and gore.
Right. Yeah. So I think they've pretty much said, because that's one of the things we were talking about. Because remember, they talked about nudity and some of this stuff, because we were thinking you could keep this show PG-13. But that's out the door now. That's out the window. Even some of the, like when Layla, right, Perrin's wife, when she dies, I mean, she's like coughing up blood and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, okay, I mean, it's definitely
there.
That's right. We're there. We're into this is
scary, mature
right.
content.
This is definitely mature content, because we were kind of talking about like how mature are they going to go, because the more mature you go, the less amount of audience you can open it up to.
I'll say this. I actually think that I think right now, like that you ease us in, you get us emotionally attached to these characters. We love the story. There's magic, there's items. We're already like, wow, this is crazy. And then you've trickled in some gore, some blood, the golden crane butt, right? We've got some butt action. Works out. Lands doing his
Grendel would give the show an R rating. Seriously though, will they go through Rand and Elaine's, hooking up scenes while the other girls feel it at the same time? I want to see Brigitte freaking out in the bar. Yeah, we're not. That's seasons away. It is going to be interesting when we get to Rand's sort of love interests, right? And like the mainstream people who aren't familiar with the series, like, what is it about these big epic fantasy series? In Game of Thrones, it's incest, and in Wheel of Time, it's polygamy. I mean, that's what will be said.
I'm telling you right now, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do that. They're gonna do this because what's interesting about you don't have to do a whole lot of it because people. It's just like if you hear at work there's a scene. Like you gotta go, like you hear that it's a good show or whatever, but then somebody drops in. I mean, there's just this curiosity in us. It's like, wait, what's going on? This guy's dating 3 girls at the same time. Like, like there's some. They can all feel what's happening. What's going on here? It's just crazy. I mean, sorry, Robert Jordan is just. It is that actually one of my biggest things that I did not like about the series actually was that. Rand's love arc. Sorry, that is something I just was not a fan of, and I wasn't into it. But it's different. It's intriguing in that you're like, what's gonna happen? And then it's intriguing in that like it's clever, not the sex stuff or whatever, but like the items, these other realms, the portal stones,
right?
Going to the snakes and the foxes and all that kind of stuff is just like, what the hell is going on? Crazy. Yeah. I'm like Peter Griffin and I are sitting here going like, nice. Nice.
I can hear it.
They're pushing. Yeah. So here we go. Well, maybe this might be our last one because as we are pushing, we're about 3 hours here. So let's see here. So I hope they don't shy away from the polygamy. It's also a whole part of the IO culture. It makes it culturally acceptable in the world of the Wheel of Time. I don't think they're going to at all. Actually, I 100% believe they will. I just think, it's sort of like the mainstream audience that doesn't read the books and they're just sort of watching this and going along. They don't go read spoilers, all this stuff. I think it's just kind of funny that it's like the last 2 big sort of mega fantasy adaptations. So be like, okay, hold on a second. Like something's going on with all these fantasy writers because Game of Thrones, it's like uncles it's like aunts hooking up with their nephews and brothers and sisters hooking up. And then I go to this Wheel of Time show and it's like this guy's got 3 wives and all this stuff. It's like, okay, what's going on?
Right. Yeah, it's wild. I don't think they're going to cut it out, and I think it's going to be the thing that, like Matt said, it's the thing that people will be like, this show has something that we don't really see a lot of on TV. They're adapting a book series, and there's this one aspect that's different, but then there's a bunch of other. So it's a lot of different things. The diversity has not just been in this series. When you read it, it's not just about the different regions and the skin tones and men and women and people who are, their social economic status or whatever. It also goes into like sex and love and like the whole thing. And then you've got people, who are channelers, who are non-channelers. I mean, it's just, that's what happens in fantasy. You have all sorts of craziness. And this is a 14-volume mega epic fantasy that has all of it. It's all of it. It's got everything you could imagine. Some of the stuff we could not imagine. Robert Jordan said, try this on for size.
Here you go. Yeah, there's like slavery too. There's like enforced.
Oh my God, Egwene goes through. That's a terrible moment. He puts it right in there in the second book, and you're like, the Shanshin are not good. It is a bad aspect of their culture that they have to.
But it's good. I mean, it adds depth and it makes it more real and it makes it grounded and all that stuff. No, it's great. It's also fantastic. The books are absolutely fantastic. And so far I think the show is fantastic.
Yeah, I think so
too. Is where I'm at with that. So all right, guys, I think with that, as we're nearing here the 3-hour mark, I think we'll call it good for today. Thank you, Ryan, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
Again, guys, we're gonna be doing these from time to time again. If you're in one of our top tiers, sort of on our Patreon group, we want you guys to come on, talk with us, hang out. You guys can be right on, and this will go on the podcast and everything as well. So we really appreciate all you guys hanging out here on YouTube. Man, crazy weekend, Des. We finally hit it. We're finally here. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. We hit 1,000 subscribers on this live stream.
Yeah,
it was a ton of fun. We had to have some celebratory hard seltzer. Tons of fun. So we certainly appreciate any and all of that. And guys, stay tuned because we have Ez and I have tons of more content coming. And with that, remember that the grave is no bar to our call.